Chapter 781. Huge Ambition. Cough. Soon, when the entire conference room had fallen into silence, Miquan, who had never spoken, broke his silence at this time and said, "Since you have not spoken now, as a neutral country, let me say a few words." Sitting in the central position in front of him, Mifune swept his eyes and looked at the 5 shadows in front of him. The leader of Akatsuki, at this moment, the master has followed the trend of the times, and has expanded his strength by taking advantage of the suspicions hidden under the surface of stability by various countries. "What exactly are you trying to say?" Onoki looked at Mifune and asked in a deep voice. "Don't worry." The 3 boats did not stop, but continued. It's not a blessing for Sai Wang to lose his horse. It is very difficult and very rare for the 5 shadows to hold a meeting in such an orderly manner at this moment. I think it's better to take this opportunity, now that you all have the idea of joining forces against Akatsuki. Anyone could speak again, Mifune said slowly. At the same time, I learned that it may be Uchiha Madara standing behind Akatsuki, so I suggest that it is better to build a ninja that has never been before with the 5 major ninja villages as the core allied forces. In this way, our strength is enough to easily destroy Akatsuki, or Uchiha Madara. He expressed his inner thoughts. Mifune, in front of someone. Allied forces. Tsuchikajinoki's expression froze, and the whole person showed a complicated look. Obviously, now he is also struggling. Had it been with Akatsuki before, they might have only needed a small amount of force. Then it will be completely clear, and the few Akatsuki left will be completely wiped out. But now, with Gongyi talking about Uchiha Madara, everyone knows that the things they thought before. It seems impossible. The strength they have put in so far, if it is to deal with Uchiha Obito. That is no doubt, it is completely a fool's dream. All the shadows, that is, because they understand these, can't help but bite Kiba and look ugly. Gongyi's words have caused them to start getting into trouble gradually, and they have to rethink their thoughts. That's right, what Admiral Mifune said, is indeed the best way. Nodding, Gongyi's face here. The color did not change, but continued. Now is an extraordinary period, and we need to work together. As Lord Hokage said. Sanchuan echoed and explained. This can also unify the command and avoid a more chaotic situation. But, now Uchiha Madara, the ninja of his Yi village, why is he fighting like this? Agent Reikage Dodai, with a hint of suspicion on his face, asked. Now that Senju Hashirama is dead, it would be best if Uchiha Madara is still alive and should return to the village of Konoha. Hehe, back to Konoha village. Hear from Agent Reikage Dodai. Gongyi showed a sarcastic smile. Lord Reikage, you still don't know enough about Uchiha Madara. This guy's ambitions are far higher than Akatsuki's, you know. Gongyi knocked on the table and said thoughtfully. After the establishment of our Konoha village in the early days, the reason why Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama were separated, and finally left, and at the end there was a war with Senju Hashirama. His ambition is really too big. It's just a ninja village, it seems that I can't satisfy Uchiha Madara. Gongyi looked at Dodai, the smile on his face gradually disappeared. And today, without Senju Hashirama blocking him, I think this Akatsuki, he has been looking for a long time, and the reason why he captured the tail beast, I also feel it is inseparable from plotting the entire ninja continent. Uchiha Madara, it's far more terrifying than you know. No matter what, Gongyi is exaggerating Uchiha Madara at this moment. Of course, it wasn't that Gongyi deliberately wanted to brag about Uchiha Madara. The reason why I said so much today is just because this is a skill. Gongyi wants to use the identity of Uchiha Madara to put pressure on the rest. At the same time, Gongyi's purpose is also very clear, the position of the General of the Ninja Coalition this time. Naturally, he had already thought about it, and it must be obtained by his master. This is of vital importance to Gongyi's future plans. The Uchiha Madara thing, if it's true, we really don't have to be negligent. Mizukage Terumi Mei. At this time, she nodded and replied in a deep voice. Now for Gong Yi's plan, as well as certain things, there is already invisible support. After all, the two of them have already reached a cooperation agreement, and at the same time, Kurigakure village and Konoha village are allied villages. Now the various mission points in the inland make the village of Kurigakure a lot of money. Although there is a lot of fruit to give to Konoha village, Terumi Mei still feels that it is nothing. General, the opinions of Gong Yi from Konoha village and Terumi Mei on behalf of Kurigakure village are actually unconditional support. At the same time, today, with such a big event, Terumi Mei is even more afraid to take it lightly. I also think Lord Hokage, what he's saying now makes a lot of sense. Soon as Terumi Mei finished speaking, Kazekage Gaara nodded and said slowly. As an ally of Konoha village at the same time, Gaara who is also obeying Gong Yi in disguise. Impossible for him, not immediately here. Express your attitude. And now this Kung Fu, Agent Reikage Dodai, and Tsuchikage Onoki, and Admiral Mifune, the three of them still can't see Mizukage in Kurigakure village, and Kazekage in Sunagakure village, they are already standing on the same boat with Konoha village. It can be vaguely known that the three ninja Omura are completely tied together. And Terumi Mei and Gaara, headed entirely by Gong Yi, seem to be waiting for his plan here. Onoki frowned, feeling a little heavy inside. But although this passive taste, a little uncomfortable. Have to admit that it seems that it will work hard now, and it should be the most correct choice to follow Gong Yi and Mifune's plans. Because no matter how you think about it, there is really no way to solve the current situation. Onoki has been in Tsuchikage's place for decades. Having experienced countless things and experienced several large-scale battles, he did not take chances at all. Thinking about it, now Onoki closed his eyes and said slowly, then if it becomes a coalition army, who will the issue of command be handed over? That's right, Onoki is still there at the moment. He's worried, it's this issue at the moment. Chapter 782. Enemy. No, the matter of command is easy to talk about. Gong Yi looked at Onoki, he didn't say anything right now. But this time, a playful smile appeared on his face. Now, let's welcome our enemy first. What? Enemy? What enemy? Hearing Gong Yi's words, sighing and Mifune present immediately. Complexion changed greatly. The first to bear the brunt is Mifune. This is the country of iron, and it belongs to his home court. Therefore, he can clearly know the defensive patrols around the whole area, and how strict the various measures are. This is definitely not for ordinary people, you can walk in. No, in terms of normal people. The whole area cannot be stepped into, let alone the conference room where the Five Shadows conference is being held here, even if it is Akatsuki's group of members. How tyrannical they were, but it was impossible to escape the eyes of his warriors. And now the other four shadows, also immediately. His whole body was tense, and at the same time, there was a look of surprise in his mind. They also couldn't imagine that the Five Shadows conference is being held here. How could there be enemies? Besides, what kind of enemy is the enemy in Gong Yi's mouth now? Is it his enemy, or is it their enemy? At the moment, Gong Yi has already left his seat. So fast. Everyone was caught off guard, even though they were already tense. But Gong Yi's terrifying speed still made each of them unable to react at all. By the time he saw Gong Yi, he had come to the center of the curved conference table. With a buzzing sound, Gong Yi immediately threw his fist down. Now he didn't use any power at all, it was just a kind of physical power to throw a heavy punch. Boom, boom, a shocking sound immediately filled the whole house. Just flat concrete floor, immediately. Rubble flew horizontally and sputtered all around. The location of the Five Shadows meeting at the moment was the roof, and now Gong Yi's punch caused the surrounding to collapse in an instant. All the shadows didn't know anything at all, so they immediately dodge out of here. When the power of terrifying Gong Yi was really strong, they also burst and retreated. Those who followed, shadow guards, Mifune and the others did the same. When the cracked ground was like a spider web, it gradually stopped spreading. An endless stream of white smoke filled the surroundings, and all those who were already standing on the edge of the house looked straight ahead. Within the thick white fog at this moment, two black figures stood impressively. "What's the situation? Someone eavesdropped on our conversation. How could this happen? I didn't find the slightest." Quote. Seeing a black shadow appearing inexplicably at the moment, everyone is shocked now. The four shadows, the shadow guards, and the three boats are all looking forward nervously. Soon, when the dust that blocked their realization had completely dissipated, everyone's eyes widened. One was wearing a dark blue robe and a white mask of 3 Tomo Rinnegan's on his face. With Uchiha's fan behind him has appeared in everyone's eyes. That's right, it was Uchiha Obito who was just discovered by Gong Yi. As long as he had come here, Gong Yi had already discovered it. Now, with the help of the key point of this topic, it is also possible to make him appear. Damn, you really almost killed me. Uchiha Obito couldn't help scolding inwardly, and now a pair of eyes were vaguely angry. He really didn't expect that Gong Yi, who was in front of him, was really merciless. Don't look at the punch just now, it doesn't seem to have done him any damage. But the real power, now only Uchiha Obito knows. Which had been penetrated, the entire floor around it was shattered and about to collapse. Uchiha Obito clearly knew that if the punch hit him, although it won't really be killed, it definitely won't feel comfortable. Damn, you look at his eyes. Agent Reikage Dodai, his pupils constricted, immediately. Cannot help but exclaimed. Next second, Terumi Mei and the others also followed their gazes. It's Sharingan. It's Rinnegan. Almost in unison. Now Uchiha Obito's appearance of Rinnegan in his left eye and Sharingan in his right eye has shocked everyone. They still don't know that this mysterious guy in front of him actually has such a terrifying pupil technique. Whose heart is beating wildly has completely overlapped what Gong Yi said before. Sharingan in front of you, plus the logo of the fan of the Uchiha clan. Looking at it this way, it has such a powerful aura, space ninjutsu and so on. All of this is enough to be confirmed now. It seems that this guy is Uchiha Madara. Doden Earth-style rock fist in their impression technique. An angry scream appeared, and everyone saw Onoki immediately. He punched and rushed out. His previously thin arm has now become extremely thick and completely petrified. Everyone has not recovered from the shock of Uchiha Obito's appearance. He has come to Uchiha Obito's eyes. Hee. Seeing Onoki's hatred full of hatred, Gong Yi's face. With a sneer, wrong dodge to the back. What should be guided has been guided, and all that he should do by himself, he has done the same. Next, I just need to watch Uchiha Obito's performance, that's enough. Boom. At this time, when Onoki's sharp blow came out, everyone imagined the scene where Uchiha Obito was shot flying. Didn't appear at all. Now it can be clearly seen that Onoki's punch just passed directly through Uchiha Obito's body and bombarded the wall behind. That was already full of cracks just now shattered in an instant, revealing the outside scene. And Uchiha Obito, he still didn't make any movement, just stood here quietly, swept to the 5 shadows standing in front of him. What's the situation? Looking at the scene before, it was a little difficult for everyone to understand. Knows what just happened. Tsuchikajinoki's blow, now actually, pierced through all the shadows of the past and his guards directly on Uchiha Madara's body. They can't understand the role of Kamui now, they just sigh that Uchiha Madara is as powerful as the rumors. And LT, please keep this for collection segment. Chapter 783. Impulsive Junior. Hee, you guys. Juniors are really impulsive. When the scene fell silent, Uchiha Obito showed a sneer. At this moment, he seems to be really like Uchiha Madara. Calm, and he didn't care about anything at all. In particular, this powerful and invincible sense of self-confidence made Gong Yi also amazed. If a person has been pretending for a long time, maybe even himself has been deceived. If he is not a transmigrator, it looks like it is purely based on the current situation. It seems that this will be Kung Fu. Gong Yi will really doubt that the mysterious guy in front of him is not really Uchiha Madara. It is the identity of the Uchiha family, and the ability of Sharingan and Mangekyo Sharingan. Now, at this moment, it is replaced by Rinnegan. Just the current posture of Uchiha Obito makes people easily misunderstood. Especially before, Gong Yi also said something about Uchiha Madara. This will, and now when Uchiha Obito appears, no one sees the slightest clue. Everyone in the Four Shadows frowned, and the chakra in the body was constantly rising at this moment. Shadow guards behind them released all their ninja tools. Tamari held a gigantic fan, and Konkuro's puppet stopped directly in front of Gaara's eyes. And the rest of the shadow guards here all at once stopped in front of their respective shadows. They came here today, naturally not listening to the Five Shadows conference. The meaning of shadow guards now is to protect their respective shadows. Bang, 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 bang. Not only that, but there are also a series of footsteps outside. It was very heavy, and it was obvious that the heavily armored warriors who had been arranged outside the three ships came here. Window, the cold wind whistled past. The whole scene has begun to reach a state where it seems that at any moment, a battle is about to be fought. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Uchiha Obito, apparently waiting for his first shot. Why, you seem to be very nervous. Uchiha Obito sneered and broke the silence again. At this moment, the air in front of him cracked immediately, twisted and began to inhale his entire being. Next second, anyone could speak again, he had already appeared on the other side unknowingly. At this moment, he is standing here, and everyone who can understand clearly is looking in his eyes. The reason why I came here today is because I have a very simple idea. Uchiha Obito looked at them coldly, and said slowly, today is not an action, but just a notification. HMPH, Akatsuki's notification, what can be good now? Onoki turned around, biting Kiba and gnashing his teeth, who is the one who hated Akatsuki the most? Not Konoha, it's not Kurigakure village, it's not Sand. It's Iwagakure village. Onoki died of his only son and was humiliated continuously, and the excellent ninjas of Iwagakure village were killed and injured countless times. My countless things were wasted because of Akatsuki. The current Onoki has long since become a completely immortal situation with Akatsuki. This is why, just after seeing Uchiha Obito appear in Onoki, he was very emotional. For Onoki, all Akatsuki members are now his mortal enemies. And Master Akatsuki, this may be Uchiha Madara, the leader behind the scenes, then it is even more so. Calm down Tsuchikage a little, now we listen to what he has to say, and there is no loss. Mizukage Terumi looked serious, immediately. Socket said. At this moment, she was very alert, waiting for Uchiha Obito to speak. Yes, the scope of this scene is well arranged. Stand behind. Gong Yi's face showed an undetectable smirk. But it disappeared in an instant, and no one could notice it at all. Originally, Gong Yi felt that there was no more trouble on Sasuke's side. At the same time, the plot has been completely changed. The appearance of Uchiha Obito will not cause any pressure on these ninja villages at all. However, this is a skill, and now Gong Yi has discovered that he really thinks too much. In front of him, Gong Yi clearly understood their individual appearances. Now all my plans are going very smoothly, and there are no accidents. I think you must feel very suspicious, why should I collect tailed beasts? Uchiha Obito said coldly, without any pressure at all. Even though he was facing the Five Shadows, everything he showed was very relaxed. in front of him could not threaten him at all. Tailed beast. HMPH, you want a tailed beast, how could we possibly know? What the hell do you want to do? Hearing Uchiha Obito's question, everyone's faces are gloomy now. It seems that the Uchiha Madara, in front of you now, is making fun of them. Now no one knows Uchiha Obito, what tricks he wants to play. Haha, in fact, the purpose of collecting tailed beasts is very simple. Uchiha Obito ignored them, but spread his hands and smiled, because only by collecting the tailed beasts, can the Moon Eye plan be carried out smoothly. That's right, no shyness at all. Now Uchiha Obito has decided to fully inform everyone of his plans. This is a blatant scheming, without the slightest concealment. Now that we have begun to fight the 5 major ninja villages in the ninja world, we have officially declared war. There is no need to hide this plan. Now Uchiha Obito, he is really ready to officially announce this plan to the entire ninja continent. At the same time, Gong Yi at the moment, now he is also unchanged. 4. Uchiha Obito, ready to reveal his plans. Such a picture has long existed in Gong Yi's mind. According to the original work, now Uchiha Obito should officially announce the plan and then officially start the 4th Ninja War. Well, now that his plans are announced or not, it doesn't matter to Gong Yi at all. Today, he just wants to use Uchiha Obito to start the 4th Ninja World War smoothly. As for other things, Gong Yi really doesn't care. Of course, now that Uchiha Obito has finished talking about his plan, he can't actually threaten his future affairs at all. Contrary, it can actually help you even more and consolidate the heart of the 5 shadows to gather together the coalition forces. Now all of this is really a good thing for me. Philo reminds you, 3 things to read, collect, push and watch the latest chapter. Baidu search 99 playmates, find 99 novels and LT, please keep this for collection segment. Chapter 784. The conference room that has become half a ruin. At this moment, the 5 shadows and the 3 ships were on one side. Everyone looked at Uchiha Obito, who was standing in front of him. I didn't expect this. Uchiha Madara, he is still alive. Agent Reikage Dodai looked forward with fear on his face at this moment. He couldn't believe that what the 5 generations of Hokage Gong Yi said was actually true. Originally, he was still skeptical. Although Gong Yi has talked a lot, but Dodai has lived for so long, it is naturally impossible to be fooled by a few words. In fact, from the bottom of his heart, he still felt that it was impossible for Uchiha Madara to be alive. Now this time, when Uchiha Obito appeared, the agent Reikage Dodai really doubted life. HMPH, according to Uchiha Madara's character, if you are so powerful. Here, Mizukage Terumi snorted coldly, and couldn't help thinking, why do you keep beating around the bush like this, using methods that make people feel sick? With your ability, you can execute any plan. Now this is not your style. Terumi showed no mercy and spoke directly to Uchiha Obito. Hehe, not my style. When Uchiha Obito heard this, he didn't panic at all. Instead, he sneered and said in a deep voice, when I fought with the original Hokage Senju Hashirama, I was seriously injured, but now I have no strength at all. Well, to put it bluntly, it's just a shell. So the so-called Eye of the Moon plan is a plan for your own recovery. This is the real purpose you want to carry out by catching the tailed beast. Hearing Uchiha Obito's words, the rest of the shadow guards said solemnly. What is the Moon Eye plan now? They naturally don't know at all. All rely on the current words of Uchiha Obito, so as to make pure guesses. If you think so, it's actually possible. Uchiha Obito did not remain silent, but continued, of course, it is not limited to this. What the hell are you trying to do? Mifune's face was a little gloomy at the moment, and the whole person looked at Uchiha Obito and asked, what is your so-called Eye of the Moon plan? Mifune is very nervous now that this elusive Obito. He couldn't imagine that his tight defense could actually let him in easily. If Gongyi didn't find out, I'm afraid they didn't know Akatsuki's guy came in until the meeting deadline. Thinking about it carefully, they were all overheard by the enemy when they were making plans. Horrible thing this would be, because once such a thing was exposed, it would only be necessary for Akatsuki to set up an ambush along the way. Then it is enough to make the 5 major ninja villages, or the other country immediately. Defeated. Defeated, this is not country to country. Battle between ninja village and ninja village. Now Akatsuki's group of guys, but will seriously threaten their heritage. Once the background is gone, then the village or the big country will also decline, and it will also disappear. Eye of the Moon Plan. Uchiha Obito looked at Mifune, but he didn't answer directly. Instead, in front of the 5 shadows, in front of everyone's eyes, he slowly sat on a chair. The whole person is calm, as if he doesn't care at all. Under such a serious situation, his appearance now gives people a kind of like chatting at home. Everyone was a little bit unbelievable, and felt that this Uchiha Madara was too arrogant. It's really enough to pose. Standing in the back, now in the whole surrounding, only Gongyi is still in a state of expressionless. Looking at Uchiha Obito now, Gongyi can only shrug. Gongyi doesn't really want to see his bad acting skills. Because it really doesn't make any sense at all. Originally, Gongyi's plan was very simple. It was just Uchiha Obito was needed to directly announce the start of the 4th Ninja World War. Unexpectedly, this guy in front of him is actually here, adding so many scenes to himself, and his face is vaguely displeased. Gongyi still feels very much that Uchiha Obito is really wasting his time. What he said, some of them are basically meaningless. A simple guide can actually do it. But thinking about the original book, Gongyi could only shake his head secretly. Hey, what about you? On the other hand, Kankuro was also a little unhappy. Watching Uchiha Obito sitting there, he drank with a serious face. Obviously, Uchiha Obito's behavior made him very angry. They were still very nervous here, and this Uchiha Madara in front of him. He actually sat there very relaxedly. Since this is the case at the moment, it is invisible and does not prove a thing. Uchiha Madara, there is no fear of them at all. Put it bluntly, now Kankuro feels the shame. He felt that Uchiha Madara didn't take them seriously at all. Nibbling on Kiba, now Kankuro can't help but want to do it. But no matter what, now Gaara has not issued an order, and he is not really right now. Hands on. Although Kankuro seems to be out of character, he is very obedient to orders. At least, on this occasion, now he won't easily spoil Gaara's affairs. Hehe, you guys, juniors are really impatient. Seeing Mifune and Kankuro's appearance, Uchiha Obito didn't have any anger. Instead, the whole person remains the same. As if right now, there is nothing at all that can make him change the pervert degree. This time, I saw Uchiha Obito, he just smiled and continued to speak. Now this month's plan, since you want to know. Saying that, Uchiha Obito paused. His Rinnegan, a special pair of Sharingan eyes, swept over everyone, and said lightly again, then listen to me and explain it to you. Everything is one with me. Uchiha Obito stretched out a finger and compared the shape of a word. But it was this small action that made the other 4 shadows involuntarily back. The rest of the shadow guards were also immediately. A moment of tension. But immediately, their hearts sank and they felt ashamed. Because Uchiha Obito, just sitting there talking. Them were startled now. This is invisible, and it is all proof. At present, they are still very afraid of the identity of Uchiha Madara. Chapter 785. The Legend of 6 Paths Immortals. The whole who unifies all. Uchiha Obito ignored their actions. A pair of eyes, still looking at them, said. But this time, when his second sentence fell, everyone's faces showed gloom. 2 in 1. Unify everything. 4 shadows, Mifune, and a group of shadow guards all murmured involuntarily. What's the situation? Temari, who was standing in front of Gaara, was a little pale and puzzled. He. Uchiha Obito looked at the group of people who were a little confused on their faces. He smiled and said, from the beginning, Uchiha has a stone tablet passed down from generation to generation. If it is now, it should have been lost. You may not know, maybe not even the people of Konoha village. Uchiha Obito said, his eyes locked on Gongyi, who was standing behind. Now that the stone tablet was taken by Gongyi, Uchiha Obito naturally didn't know. At this moment, he seemed to have fallen into memory and said, on that stele. The secrets that the 6 paths immortal once wrote were recorded. Of course, without the powerful pupil power of the Uchiha family, it is impossible to interpret it. Only after awakening Sharingan, Mangekyo Sharingan, and Rinnegan, can the contents on it be read in turn. What the hell are you trying to say? At this time, Onoki couldn't listen anymore, and his face showed anger. Your words are really getting more and more bizarre. Even the 6 paths immortal said it in your mouth. It's just a fact, he existed and left that stone tablet. Looking at Onoki, Uchiha Obito responded lightly. Don't you think it's off topic now? Agent, Reikage Dodai, apparently didn't want to listen to Uchiha Obito's pointless tirade either. At this moment, he stepped forward, looked at him with a serious face and said, what does your plan have to do with the 6 paths immortal? The reason why he became a legend and was enshrined as the god of ninjas. Do you know? That's my purpose and my relationship with this man. Sitting on the large chair, Uchiha Obito's face behind the mask showed memories, and he said slowly in thought. Uchiha Madara, you have Mangekyo Sharingan, and now you have Rinnegan. Mizukage Terumi also stepped forward and said to Uchiha Obito in a deep voice, you must know everything by now. Everyone may wish to let Mr. Chia Madara speak and listen. Gongyi, who had been silent and did not speak, smiled and said to Uchiha Obito. Now when Gongyi said these words, the rest of the people also fell silent. Obviously, now that Gongyi is here at the moment, his words still carry weight. At the same time, these few words of Uchiha Obito now make them have a lot of doubts in their hearts. He once saved the world from a certain monster. Uchiha Obito also did not remain silent, but continued to speak. From the hands of some monster. Gaara's face was even more confused, and she couldn't help but murmur. 10 tails. Gaara. At this time, after Uchiha Obito said 10 tails, everyone except Gongyi became shocked in an instant. Everyone seemed to become, immediately, silence, another incomprehensible disbelief on his face. They know 1 tail, 2 and 2. 6-tailed Kyuubi, 9 tails. But at this moment, the 10 tails, 4 shadows, Mifune and others from the mouth of Uchiha Obito are completely unheard of. 10 tails, what are you talking about 10 tails? How could there be 10 tails? Isn't the one with the most in the entire ninja world? Kyuubi, 9 tails. Out next to Mizukage, now he stared at Uchiha Obito and asked aloud. The current situation here is completely difficult for him to understand. 10 tails, to put it bluntly, it is a collection of all tailed beasts. Uchiha Obito shrugged and responded lightly, well, it should be the existence of the strongest chakra in the entire ninja continent. How could there be that kind of thing that shouldn't be the strongest? Only Kyuubi, 9 tails. Temari waved his hand, completely rejecting Uchiha Obito's words. Because this is so simple, Temari feels that his 3 views have been subverted. I already said it. Uchiha Obito sneered, showing a sarcastic taste. That's the collection of all the tailed beasts. 1-tailed Shukaku, 2-tailed Tuor, 3-tailed Isofu, 4-tailed Sun Wukong, 5-tailed Mawang, 6-tailed Rhinoceros, 7-tailed Shigame, 8-tailed Ox Ghost, and Kyuubi, 9 tails Demon Fox. Completely speaking out all the tailed beasts in the ninja continent, Uchiha Obito explained in a slow voice. This tail goes to Kyubi, 9 tails, the tailed beasts you know, they are all just separated from 10 tails. It's just chakra. And they are nothing but the products of the 6 paths sage who separated their 10 tails. This topic is nasty, so that's why you collect tailed beasts. Kankuro's expression was still gloomy, and he was staring at Uchiha Obito in front of him. 6 paths immortals developed some kind of ninjutsu in order to protect the world from 10 tails, and now this ninjutsu has been passed down in secret. The sealing system of the human Jinchuriki column force. Anyone could speak. Uchiha Obito nodded unconsciously. Yes, 6 paths immortal, he is actually 10 tails, Jinchuriki column force. In order to suppress 10 tails, he sealed 10 tails in his body. In the end, this will be saved by the people the 10 tails have been scourged by. So in the end, he was also enshrined as a god. But the too powerful and evil 10 tails chakra, after his 6 paths immortal's death, will definitely come out to make trouble again, so the 6 paths immortal, before his own death, exhausted his last strength to destroy 10 tails, chakra, divided into 9 types, scattered all over the place. The sealed 10 tails body was sent out of the ninja continent by the power of 6 paths and placed in the sky. Uchiha Obito said, smiled and looked at everyone in front of him. That is the moon you know. The topic is too grand. Humans can really do this. Agent Reikage Dodai sneered and looked at Uchiha Obito. These topics are indeed a bit too shocking for them. At least so far, now that they want to absorb the words. Still need to wait for a while. Philo reminds you. An LT, and GT. Chapter 786. Super Large Demonic Illusion. Not long. When Uchiha Obito appeared to the present. The entire 4 shadows and 3 ships are completely. Complexions are constantly changing. From the previous fear to horror, and finally to shock. Then to now, absolutely unbelievable. Although they are in the ninja world, they seem to be standing at the top. But it's not so. Almost everything they know is still very little. They don't even know the secrets of the entire ninja continent. Gong Yi, who is standing here now, is not surprised by their expressions. Although what Uchiha Obito said, Gong Yi already knew all about it. But, for the rest of the people, Gong Yi didn't teach them science either. Of course, Gong Yi is not here to talk much now. Was still a smile on his handsome face, and Gong Yi just listened quietly. This is what Uchiha Obito said from the beginning, although boring to Gong Yi. But for the rest of the shadows, it is the secret of the ninja world that cannot be discovered. Well, actually listening to it is also a good choice. Now they listen more, and they can let themselves explain less later. Otherwise, they would never realize how serious the situation was. Therefore, now what Uchiha Obito said, Gong Yi has gradually accepted it. After he has finished talking about this here, he can also encourage himself to waste less words. No matter how he thinks about it, Gong Yi feels that this is really a good choice. With humans alone, it is naturally impossible to do this. At the same time, Uchiha Obito, still here, responded in a deep voice to the sudden confusion of the front agent Reikage. 6 paths immortals are the 10 tails, Jinchuriki column power, mastered the power that belongs to it, and can't be counted as a human category for a long time. I already understand what you mean. Here, before Dodai could speak again, Mifune stared at Uchiha Obito and said, the purpose of catching the tail beast is to reunite the power of the 9 types, and then obtain the power that is beyond the realm of human beings. If that's the case, then what do you want to get that power for? A gloomy look gradually appeared on Mifune's face. Obviously he was very afraid of Uchiha Obito. Since Gong Yi has finished speaking before, Mifune has changed a lot from Uchiha Madara. Since he has such big ambitions. Then, once he has obtained such power, Mifune does not believe that he will do anything good. What you said is actually quite correct. Hearing Mifune finish speaking, Uchiha didn't hide the slightest bit. He nodded, and the whole person immediately. Standing up, he smiled and said, "Resurrect the 10 tails, and then I will become the 10 tails, Jinchuriki column force. Use the power of these 10 tails to strengthen my pupil power, and then use some kind of ninjutsu." Some kind of ninjutsu. Seeing Uchiha Obito so straightforward, Gaara asked with a confused expression, "What the hell are you talking about?" "It's a super large ninjutsu that can project its own eyes onto the moon. The name of the art is Infinite Tsukuyomi." His hands, Uchiha Obito seemed to be welcoming something. "With this, I will use this ninjutsu to perform demonic illusion on everyone in the entire ninja continent. Finally, it's up to me to all the people in master demonic illusion and make the world one. No greed, no war, no death, no division, a truly united world." Speaking, Uchiha Obito seemed a little excited, and raised his voice to preach again. "Everything is rooted. I am one, the unity of all. Simply put, this is my Moon Eye plan." The words fell, and now Uchiha Obito glanced at everyone in front of him indifferently. "Hihi, Infinite Tsukuyomi. Standing here, Gong Yi doesn't." "You sneered." For Kage, Mifune and others standing here at the moment, although they heard Uchiha Obito finish. Everyone's faces were shocked, and their brains began to go blank. But Gong Yi didn't. After all, he already knew this. And Infinite Tsukuyomi, he has already fully figured it out. Short, Infinite Tsukuyomi should be a large demonic illusion with a very wide range. It can also be called a world-destroying move, and only those with Samsara Sharingan can activate this technique. And its usage is the same as what Uchiha Obito said. That is, the ultimate, pupil power is mapped on the moon, and people all over the world fall into demonic illusion. And for those who fall into demonic illusion, everything he experiences will be mastered by Uchiha Obito. But generally speaking, people who are hit with Infinite Tsukuyomi will enter a dream and their wishes will come true. This super large ninjutsu has only been released twice as far as Gong Yi knows. First released by Otsutsuki Kagaya, it nearly wiped out the human race in a short time. The second time was released by Uchiha Madara later. Infinite Tsukuyomi is actually quite scary, and its scope affects the whole world. No matter where you hide, the light of Infinite Tsukuyomi can penetrate. In the blink of an eye, you can instantly pull the hit person into the caster's construction. In the illusory world, it is impossible to react at all. Of course, Infinite Tsukuyomi is indeed enough to destroy the world, but it has no effect on Gong Yi at all. That he is already a 10 tails person Jinchuriki, column force, a perfect master of 10 tails, power. It is impossible for this Infinite Tsukuyomi to affect him simply by sublimating his spiritual level with those 4 seeds of divine consciousness. What are you kidding? At this time, the agent Reikage Dodai came back to his senses immediately. His face has changed from fear and shock to now, and has gradually become angry. "I will not give the world to a person like you." And the next second, Agent Reikage Dodai drank it, and the rest were still there. The people who were horrified and shocked came back to their senses. The illusory piece is just a lie, the real greed is your ambition. Gaara clenched his fists here and said, "True peace can only be realized in the real world, this is the real meaning. Living in your so-called illusory world, which is only in the demonic illusion of the master, how can there be peace?" As soon as Gaara's voice fell, Terumi also immediately said, "This is a coward who has no dreams and only knows how to escape. I see that your real goal is not peace, but to unify the world, right?" Onoki's face was even more angry, and he was already burning with anger. Seeing Uchiha Obito now, after speaking so recklessly, Onoki's whole person is even more unable to bear the heart to do it himself. Chapter 787. Officially declare war. There is no dream, just know how to escape. Real peace has no real meaning. Hearing the 4 shadows in front of him keep talking, Uchiha Obito lowered his arms. Speaking these words now is actually the result of no meaning at all. Uchiha Obito glanced at the 4 shadows and 3 ships, and finally stopped at Gongyi. Now that I'm here today, of course I am not sharing my Moon Eye plan with you this time. Waiting for anyone to speak again, Uchiha Obito's whole body has changed now. A tyrannical chakra power suddenly burst out. With a loud bang, the already fragile conference room began to collapse even more. Those places that were already cracked like spider webs have now become a rubble. Now I am officially here to inform you of one thing. Voice was indifferent, and Uchiha Obito didn't talk nonsense at all. In the name of Uchiha Madara, on behalf of Akatsuki, I declare war with all of you in the ninja continent. The 4th Ninja World War is officially opened by me. Domineering aura, without the slightest fear at all, has long been shown. At this moment, no one doubted at all. Be able to dare to do this, presumably except Uchiha Madara, who was as famous as the god of the ninja world at the time. There is absolutely no one who can say such a thing. Declaring war with the entire ninja world is not something that a normal person can think about. The 4th Ninja War. At this time, Agent Reikage Dodai said again, "You are serious. Everyone, let's see you on the battlefield next time." Uchiha Obito has said enough for today. He didn't answer anyone's question at all. The voice fell, and Uchiha Obito immediately launched Kamui. The air in front of him began to twist in an instant, and a majestic attraction suddenly erupted, sucking Uchiha Obito's whole body into it. When almost no one reacted, he disappeared without a trace. Was still a cold wind blowing outside the window, as if no one had appeared at all. Then what should we do next? After a moment of silence, Mizukage Terumi looked at Joe, and finally fixed his gaze on Gongyi. Now it's going to work, and it seems that Terumi is waiting for Gongyi's opinion. Now that he, Uchiha Madara, has officially declared war here. Then we might also. Feeling Terumi's words, Gongyi smiled and said, "We already wanted to join forces to destroy Akatsuki completely. And he, Uchiha Madara, has put this war on the bright side, and it is more conducive to our next shot. The opening of the 4th war is more comfortable than when we secretly carry out encirclement and suppression. So to suggest that, as Your Excellency Mifune just said, the 5 major ninja village alliances will be officially established, and the ninja coalition will be established. He, Uchiha Madara, since he dared to declare war without any fear, we naturally have no reason to retreat." Gongyi's simple words made everyone look over. Of what he's saying now that people can refute it. In the current situation here, it is very clear. Situation has entered a situation that makes it impossible for people to even think about it. Just now Uchiha Madara, he has officially opened the 4th Ninja War in front of everyone. In front of their 5 shadows, he declared war so arrogantly. If they do back down at this point, it's not just a matter of making people laugh to death. The Infinite Tsukuyomi Project, 10 Tails, the super large demonic illusion. The words of Uchiha Madara just now have already made them all remember in their hearts. Now this has become a haze lingering in their minds. Uchiha Madara is really going to succeed, then the entire ninja continent may be over. I don't even need to think about it now, as a shadow, as the supreme existence of the Master Ichimura. These things that Uchiha Madara brought to them have seriously threatened them all. This matter is really urgent. As soon as Gongyi finished speaking, Gaara nodded. Now his face is also not good, he said in a deep voice. Now that Uchiha Madara has obtained the 8-tailed beast, the power of its master is completely beyond our estimation. And maybe, he may also have ninjutsu that can use tailed beasts, or other trump cards. That's right. Kankuro, who followed Gaara, nodded, bit Kiba and said, otherwise, Uchiha Madara wouldn't be able to be so arrogant, and he would dare to tell us his plan here, and officially start the 4th Ninja War here, against us on the bright side. It looks like we can't dodge it now, only Kyubi, 9 Tails, in Konoha village has not been captured, and it is Uchiha Madara's plan, the last breach. Tamari put his hand on his chin and couldn't help but murmured. I suggest now that if this is the case, then Kyuubi, Ninetales, should be more strictly protected. Here, the agent Reikage Dodai, now looking to Gaara's side, said his thoughts. Now this fourth ninja war, in addition to completely destroying Akatsuki, I think another goal is to protect Konoha. Kyuubi, Ninetales, Jinchuriki, column force to prevent him from being captured by Uchiha Madara. Agent Reikage Dodai thought a lot and continued to say, after all, now Uchiha Madara, if he wants to resurrect Ten Tails, he has to collect all the nine-tailed beasts, and now he wants to completely match the Eye of the Moon plan in his mouth, then the premise is to resurrect the Ten Tails. Looking at everyone looking at him, the agent Reikage Dodai did not hide, and said, therefore, as long as Kyuubi, Ninetales, is protected now, everything in Uchiha Madara will naturally collapse. I think so too. Mifune nodded and said in agreement. Now the purpose of this Uchiha Madara launching the Ninja World War, I think it is for this Kyuubi, Ninetales. There are 5 generations of Hokage guards in the village of Konoha. With the current weak Uchiha Madara, he may not be able to defeat Lord Hokage. He should be using this war as a trick to confuse the public and secretly capture Kyuubi, Ninetales. After careful analysis, Mifune thinks this may be the reason. And the rest of the people heard what Mifune said, and in fact, they all started to think about it. Chapter 788. The 5 Shadows Allied Forces. Your Excellency, Mifune is right. The current Gaara nodded and said analytically, now with the weak Uchiha Madara, and the Akatsuki members who have almost no members, they want to enter the Konoha village to snatch the Kyuubi, Ninetales guarded by Hokage. I think the risk is very high. Big, and with the possibility of failure. So judging from what Uchiha Madara has done so far, he wants to rely on the war to lead Lord Hokage out and take the opportunity to arrest Kyuubi, Ninetales. Then now on Akatsuki's side, no matter what, we have to do it all in one go. Onoki, who has not spoken all the time, is now also immediately expressed his opinion. Now, in the entire ninja continent, the one who hates Akatsuki the most should be Tsuchikajinoki from Iwagakure village. Everyone looked at Onoki's appearance at the moment, but they didn't even have to think about it. As long as Akatsuki can be eliminated this time, Onoki won't have any other problems at all. Because I came here today and looked at Onoki's attitude, in fact, everyone knows it well. As the shadows of the major ninja villages, they naturally received news of what happened in Iwagakure village. At the same time, they also feel a little pity for it now. After all, so many carefully cultivated elite ninjas and buildings that spent resources were all destroyed. Civilians and ninjas were also killed and injured countless times. At the same time, even as the only child raised by the next generation of Tsuchikage, he was killed just like that. Moreover, the tailed beast that was brought back from Konoha village where so many resources were consumed, instead fulfilled Akatsuki. This kind of thing, I'm afraid it won't be good if it's placed on anyone now because so far, the hatred between Onoki and Akatsuki is really difficult to resolve. Since Uchiha Madara has declared war, then I, the village of Kumogakure, agree to form a coalition. Here, no nonsense, Agent Reikage Dodai was the first to speak. Although the Kumogakure village has been kept low-key at the moment, there is not much loss at the same time. But Uchiha Madara today really made Dodai feel deeply afraid. Now he is still very worried if Uchiha Madara's plan is successful. So what awaits them is not just a disaster of destruction. They enter the illusion world controlled by people. I am afraid that even their descendants will be like this forever. This is definitely not something that Dodai can accept now. In the name of Kazekage, I declare that Sunagakure village will also form a coalition army. As soon as Dodai finished speaking, Gaara nodded firmly. Now what Dodai is thinking, Gaara naturally understands it very well. This will be Kung Fu, and now Gaara is also afraid of Akatsuki and Uchiha Madara. The infinite Tsukuyomi plan, which has begun to affect everyone's Kurigakure village, now also agrees with the army. After Dodai and Gaara, Terumi May also nodded and said the same. Now Uchiha Madara is not only threatening the inland ninja village as a separate island on their side, once Uchiha Madara succeeds. They don't even want to be able to escape here. Listening to Uchiha Madara's undisguised plan, Terumi May did not naively think that Uchiha Madara would allow their village of Kurigakure to multiply on an island outside the ninja land. Since it is impossible, then it is also a side note, they must also put in their strength now to resist Uchiha Madara's ambition. The old man also accepts that as long as those guys can be eliminated now, I am willing to fully support the coalition. As Iwagakure's Tsuchikajinoki, it is now also immediately speak up. At the same time, more sincere than anyone else. Now Onoki, he has no nonsense. It seems like it's going to be right now. Team, find Akatsuki and start a battle. Hee hee. Looking at the stubborn little old man in front of him, Gong Yi doesn't. A sneer appeared on his face. Now Onoki and Akatsuki and Uchiha Madara, now the bigger the hatred, the better. After that, Gong Yi even thought about using Uchiha Madara's side to kill Onoki quietly. So far, only this master, Onoki, who has remained in Iwagakure village for decades, is the most threatening to him. If you want to accept Iwagakure village, you must first pass the Onoki level. Now Onoki is here, but there is a serious threat to himself. He has long been ingrained in the hearts of Iwagakure village ninjas and commoners. If you use forceful means, it is likely to achieve bad results. Then you just need to get rid of Onoki here, and then use the avatar of divine consciousness. In fact, Gong Yi doesn't need to consume any power at all, and wait. Resources, he can easily take down Iwagakure village. Just like the current Sunagakure village, the Sunagakure with the Gaara master is actually no different from his own in disguise. For so many years, Gaara has provided information and resources for himself. The entire Konoha village is also growing more and more under the nourishment of Sunagakure village. Well, it's not bad for Gong Yi to see Onoki's appearance now. He is not afraid that Onoki will lose his mind and affect the outcome of the entire ninja coalition. Now he's still worried about Onoki, he's too indifferent. Then it's not a good thing. Not long. A short while of effort. Onoki from Iwagakure village, Terumi May from Kurigakure village, Gaara from Sunagakure village, Dodai from Kumogakure village. Moment, the 4 strongest ninja villages in the ninja world have all agreed to gather the first ninja coalition to officially start the 4th ninja war. So far, Gong Yi has prepared several years of plans, and it has been completely completed. Next, it has fully entered the final quota. Gong Yi only needs to weaken the fighting strength of the remaining 4 ninja villages in the 4th ninja war. At the same time, he can officially complete all his plans. After he traveled to this place, what he had planned for decades has already ended successfully. Thinking of this, even though it was Gong Yi, he couldn't help but secretly rejoice in his heart. Everything is going well now, and there are no surprises that I was worried about before. Everyone, since the ninja world continent has become like this now, then my iron country can't continue to stick to the rules. After seeing the 4 shadows here, Mifune, the general of the country of iron, also said, now Uchiha Madara's behavior has seriously affected the entire ninja continent, so our country of iron cannot be spared, so I also decided, now officially join the coalition. Chapter 789. Everyone who considers. The current 3 boats also naturally think very clearly. At the same time, he also has his own consciousness. The entire ninja continent is about to fall into fire and water, and his country of iron cannot escape. As the other 4 shadows thought, this is not a war that can still be alone. Uchiha Madara's plan, he has seriously affected everyone's due interests. The Infinite Tsukuyomi project, which activates the super-large demonic illusion's ability, makes people feel powerless just thinking about it. Once a problem really occurs, none of them can escape. If there is no real meaning of life, but in a dream, it will sink forever. Just thinking about it makes me feel a little scary and unacceptable. Living forever under the control of others is not the life they want. On this issue, it seems that it is rare for everyone to be unified now. In fact, peace is one aspect, more of them, and now they don't want to be controlled by others in a vague way. As ninjas, as shadows, as the top existences in this ninja world, they naturally have their own will and ideas. A plan like Uchiha Madara's completely deviates from what they all thought. So now they have no one at all, thinking about getting out of here. This is a matter of fact for everyone. Can't escape, you can't hide, you can only face it upright. The 4 shadows present, and the 3 ships of the Iron Country. Everyone, now has awakened. Okay, I called the 5 Shadows Conference to destroy Akatsuki this time. So now this Uchiha Madara, since he came here to officially declare war on us and provoked our 5 major ninja villages, he is now threatening the interests of all of us. Seeing that no one was going to speak, Gangyi smiled and said, then I, Konoha village, naturally won't look at it, so now I agree with the arrangement of your coalition. Exactly what Gangyi meant. Under the current situation, Gangyi is eager to form an alliance as soon as possible. The next time I complete the plan, it seems that it will go more smoothly. Get Uchiha Obito today and accompany me to play this scene. The final result is not to put pressure on all the ninja villages to force them to form a ninja coalition. Now that the goal has been achieved, Gangyi has no more worries. All people, all things, are still on their own track. Now that the 5 shadows have all agreed, who should the position of the general of the coalition be given to? Hearing Gangyi's voice, the agent Reikage Dodai said thoughtfully. Now he put his hand on his chin, the whole person seems to be thinking. And the rest of the people, now hearing this. After that, they all became silent one after another. The Alliance army is actually very well formed. However, he is currently the general of the ninja army of the 5 master ninja village alliances. This seems to start, and everyone has to go and take a good look at it because it's not a little post. In the future, he will be the most core high-ranking position in the entire ninja. And just when a group of shadows were still there in contemplation, Mifune looked around, in his mind. Start thinking. The first to bear the brunt is Keizukage Gaara, the nearest village of Sunagaku to him. Gaara, although he is sitting in Keizukage's position, he is too young after all. It seems a bit inappropriate to hand over the entire coalition to him. Followed by Mizukage Terumi Mei. As a woman, she may sometimes act out of sensibility. If this is really the case, it is absolutely impossible to go to the Master Alliance. At the same time, let a group of ninjas be captured by a female general, master. Maybe this will make some people unhappy. And the most senior Tsuchikajinoki. Now he has been blinded by hatred, if he encounters some enemies. The end, it is very likely that they will act on their own accord, which will easily cause unnecessary losses to the coalition forces. And the agent Reikage Dodai, now he does look good in every way. Unfortunately, he is acting as Reikage. Now, the 5 villages coalition forces are handed over to Yinglai with such an identity to lead them. Then it is very likely that some people will be unhappy. At a glance, among the 5 shadows, Mifune has now rejected 4 of them. Fix the last scene on Gangyi, the 5th Hokage of Konoha village. He should be the best candidate for Mifune right now. Powerful enough to suppress everything is daunting. Not only is there a lot of master ninjutsu, but also the power of the seal-tailed beast. At the same time, others are not impulsive in doing things, and are completely calm. Whether it's making a plan or going through the battlefield. Every one of them, the 5 generations of Hokage in front of you can be perfectly competent. Just a simple thought, Mifune already has a lot in mind. Thinking about it, Mifune looked at Wying and coughed lightly. I have a proposal now. I think it would be better for the 5th Hokage to be the general of the coalition forces this time, so I recommend him. Don't question. Now the 3 ships, naturally have to choose an existence that can truly lead them to victory. He has also joined the ninja coalition at this moment, but he can't have any thoughts that have nothing to do with him. Since so far, the arrow has to be sent on the string. Mifune, now naturally decided to find someone who can truly rely on, to take up this important position. I also think the 5th generation Hokage is the best choice. So I believe in Hokage unconditionally. At this time, after Mifune finished expressing his views, Terumi nodded and said to Gong Yi involuntarily. In fact, as early as on Mifune's side, he hadn't opened his mouth to say it. Terumi has already thought of it, and also wants to recommend Gong Yi for this position. After looking around, she found that only Gong Yi was the most suitable for this position. Hee. Hearing Mifune and Terumi finished talking, Gong Yi smiled inwardly. Now, the reason why he didn't say anything first is because waiting for the others to recommend him. So far, as long as they are not stupid now, all of them will agree to be the general. It can already be seen among the 5 shadows. Is no one else except yourself who is truly qualified. At the same time, Gong Yi is also confident because he has already mastered Terumi and Gaara. Now the 2 will naturally support themselves unconditionally. Now this is a kung fu, and basically Gong Yi can already know it. Of the general commander of the ninja coalition is already a certainty. Even who it is impossible for him to shake his position. Chapter 790, The General of the Allied Forces. That's true, leave it to the 5th Hokage. As soon as Terumi finished speaking, Gong Yi was still there, while thinking. Gaara's voice, as expected, has already come out. He nodded, also showing his full support for Gong Yi. A short time, the whole house is now Mizukage Terumi, Kazekage Gaara, and Admiral Mifune. They have all been, totally unconditionally that Gong Yi is the most suitable candidate. 5 generations of Hokage are indeed a good candidate for this time. Tsuchikajinoki, who was silent for a moment, nodded unexpectedly at this moment. Onoki said and looked at Gong Yi. This time I don't want to fight for anything, I just want to eliminate Akatsuki. As long as they are eliminated, I have nothing to ask for. It is obvious inside and outside the words, and the meaning of Onoki is also very simple. Has no interest in the position of the general of the coalition army at all. As Gong Yi expected. Now Onoki, he wants to get rid of Akatsuki more, and more to get revenge. And what Onoki said just now, is saying that invisibly. Now Gong Yi has become, he can be the general of the coalition army, as long as he can complete the task of destroying Akatsuki. As for the rest, Onoki didn't seem to care. 5 generations of Hokage, it seems that it can only be like this. Seeing that Tsuchikajinoki let go, the agent Reikage Dodai did not go silent again. Now the situation here is obvious, and he actually has no desire to serve as the general of this coalition. He is currently only an agent Reikage. Even if he had this thought, he would have completely suppressed it by now. Since this is the case, then I will naturally not betray everyone's trust. Seeing that everyone had no opinion, Gong Yi smiled along the way, then this time the ninja coalition will be commanded by me. Gong Yi naturally wouldn't pretend to refuse. To hold the 5 Shadows conference, there are only 2 things in total. The first one is, Uchiha Obito is used to officially open the 4th Ninja War. The second thing is that he is now sitting on the position of the general of the 5 Master Ninja Village Coalition forces. Just 2 things have been done. So the current Gong Yi, there is no more politeness. He didn't want to have another accident at that time. Well, then it's not so much fun. Gong Yi, who has always acted cautiously, would never play any tricks. When all the dust settles, it's natural to accept everything completely. It's like the position of the general, since everyone has already elected themselves. Then Gong Yi, he just accepted it with a smile. And he didn't have any denial, anything. Okay, now our coalition is officially established. Hearing Gong Yi's agreement, Mifune didn't think too much about it. He just smiled and nodded. Since the coalition has been established, the first thing we do is very simple. Looking around, seeing that no one has spoken now, Gong Yi's face. The color became serious. He didn't smile anymore, but said seriously, although we are going to fight Akatsuki, so far, we don't know their main strength at the moment, so we can't take it lightly. So the most important thing is that now we return to our respective villages, immediately. Start collecting ninja power. After all the ninjas are arranged, we are starting to prepare for the evacuation of civilians. Although Gong Yi clearly knew what the war would be like in the future, he would not talk about it here. Need to tell them that Uchiha Obito Master has 100,000 skills, and can impure world reincarnation out of the army of the dead, unless it is the current Gong Yi, he is really crazy. Otherwise, such a thing will only be buried in his heart forever. After all, the less they know now, the less the better. Because in such a situation, Gong Yi just wanted to use the Fourth Ninja War to wipe out the power that weakened the major ninja villages. Apart from these, he has no other ideas. Going back to his senses, Gong Yi also showed his contemplation, and said with an oath, "The civilians of the village are our top priority. We don't know what Uchiha Madara wants to do, in order to prevent him from sending Akatsuki's people to attack our villages. This is still very important." That's right. Terumi May nodded, obviously thinking seriously. In the current situation, it is true, Uchiha Madara is cunning, and he really needs to be careful. No one knows what this guy will do. Gong Yi's words really started to make everyone think. Shameless Akatsuki, no one can really figure out their routine right now. Onoki bit Kiba and nodded involuntarily. Now the guards at the rear are indeed very important. Then let's go back immediately to organize the distribution of ninja power, and then arrange civilian affairs, and then we will discuss it. Agent Reikage Dodai recovered from his thoughts, looked at the people in front of him and said, "That's fine. Now that the war has come, we naturally need it without delay." Gong Yi nodded in agreement, and then continued, "Then after we have made arrangements, we will go to the Iron Country to formally discuss the arrangements for the next battle." Good. Four Shadows and Mifune responded quickly. The urgency is imminent now, and there is not much time to waste. In the end, after a simple communication between the people, they took the shadow guards and started to leave. In the entire 5 major ninja villages has finally come to an end at this moment. Now except Gong Yi, everyone's face actually doesn't look good. Heart was extremely gloomy, and his mind was thinking about the next countermeasures against Akatsuki and Uchiha Madara. The Eye of the Moon plan really touches everyone's heart. In their minds, they have begun to swear secretly. This time, Uchiha Madara will definitely not be able to succeed. If he really succeeded, it would not only be their suffering, but also the endless descendants of their descendants. The entire ninja continent will be wiped out immediately. Now they will never allow such a thing to happen, and they will never allow Uchiha Madara to truly succeed. Everyone is now using the fastest speed to move towards their own ninja village returns. To inform everyone that the real battle has come. Chapter 791. Madara. Gong Yi has returned to Hokage's office after the country of Iron hastily returned. At this moment Nara Shikaku, he has also knocked on the door and walked in. It was Gong Yi who called him just now. Now that the 5 Shadows conference has been held, Gong Yi naturally needs to start arranging the next ninja power. At the same time, Gong Yi is also naturally prepared now, and Nara Shikaku directly stated his plan. If he agrees, then everything will be easier in the future. However, if he doesn't agree, then he can only use Uchiha Shisui's eyes to control him. Now everything, Gong Yi has already arranged. Things that have been planned for so long, if this is the case, there will be omissions. Well, that was the most unacceptable thing to Gong Yi. Of course, Gong Yi will not allow such omissions to appear. Lord Hokage, the Five Shadows meeting is going well now. Walking in, Nara Shikaku, who still knew nothing, looked at Gong Yi and asked. It's fair to say it wasn't very smooth. Hearing this, Gong Yi shook his head and looked at Nara Shikaku. Just as the Five Shadows meeting was going on, Uchiha Madara suddenly appeared. What? Hearing the name Uchiha Madara, Nara Shikaku's face changed greatly. Who had been confused before, was immediately at this moment. Becomes serious. Uchiha Madara, did he actually interfere with the Five Shadows conference? Now, although the other four major ninja villages have just learned of the existence of Uchiha Madara, Nara Shikaku is different. Long ago, he knew that the leader behind Akatsuki was Uchiha Madara. All this is not what he investigated, but what Gong Yi told him. Nara Shikaku, who was just starting out, naturally didn't believe it at all. Like the four big shadows this time, his face is full of impossible looks. This thing is too unbelievable now. That coexisted with Senju Hashirama and created Konoha village at the same time, belonging to the old ancestors. The existence of. He is still alive for anyone to hear this, and it is true that they will not believe it. But later, after Gong Yi's various fabricated reasons, plus his own ability to foresee. This made Nara Shikaku really understand that Uchiha Madara may really be alive. Maybe these words, if they were said in the mouths of others, would definitely make people impossible to believe. But Naihi, it's in Gong Yi's mouth now. This can be called the ninja continent, the god of ninja Gong Yi. At the same time, he is also the supreme controller of the Konoha village, Hokage. In the mouth of such existence, what he said came out. With Nara Shikaku's opinion, it has to be impossible to be fake. After all, Gong Yi doesn't have a picture at all, nor does it benefit him at all. Such nonsense can even be misunderstood. So Nara Shikaku knew that since Gong Yi said it, there is absolutely no way it could be fake. And today, when Gong Yi said this, Nara Shikaku's heart was also stunned. If Uchiha Madara is really still alive and destroying the Five Shadows conference. Well, Nara Shikaku knows this, there is absolutely no way that good things will happen. Nara Shikaku can't believe it, the current Uchiha Madara just wants to see the current Five Shadows. Since he has already appeared in the Five Shadows conference, he must have a plan. Moreover, now he is definitely, and it is impossible for ordinary things at all. When a person exposes himself to everyone's eyes, then Nara Shikaku knows that this matter will not be easy. After thinking of this, Nara Shikaku couldn't help looking at Gong Yi. Then what happened, Lord Hokage? Then what? Seeing Nara Shikaku's gloomy face, Gong Yi's face gradually became serious. Uchiha Madara, he has officially declared war with the entire ninja world. Nara Shikaku. Hearing what Gong Yi said. After that, Nara Shikaku was silent for a moment, and his face immediately turned pale. Immediately, it was an incomprehensible expression. Declare war to the entire ninja world. At this moment, Nara Shikaku, he is just a stunned look. This will work hard, as if he heard it wrong now. Declare war. Declare war on the entire ninja world. This is something Nara Shikaku can't even imagine. Now Nara Shikaku, he thinks of all possibilities. However, he really did not expect that such a situation would occur now. If it wasn't for what Gong Yi said, Nara Shikaku would have listened to it as a joke. After all, he suddenly appeared at the Five Shadows conference, and the reason for it was that he wanted to declare war. Nara Shikaku couldn't imagine how this Uchiha Madara would become like this. At the same time, I want to challenge the ninjas of the entire ninja continent. Nara Shikaku, who was equally unbelievable. How much power does it take to be able to face the entire ninja village so recklessly? 5 major ninja villages have now been taken away from the tailed beasts. However, their background and ninja power are more than that. And this time, I still have to challenge all the ninja villages. Nara Shikaku seems to feel that this Uchiha Madara must be crazy. Hehe, Shikaku, sensei, you must think that Uchiha Madara has gone crazy. Seemingly guessing Nara Shikaku's heart, Gung-Yi suddenly showed a sarcastic smile. I actually felt that way at first. Uchiha Madara is really crazy. But after that, I actually don't think so. Gung-Yi stared at Nara Shikaku, and explained lightly, now Uchiha Madara has all his plans out of the tray. All his plans have been palatized. Hearing Gung-Yi finish speaking, Nara Shikaku's expression has been constantly changing. This wave after wave of things, even though it was Nara Shikaku, he didn't react. After all, what's going on here at Uchiha Madara is a little too shocking. At least at this moment, it is not Nara Shikaku at all, he can imagine. Now all this, Nara Shikaku can't even think about it. As can be expected, this will be Kung Fu. Uchiha Madara apparently said something unknown. Next second, Shikaku asked with a very curious expression on his face, Lord Hokage, what is Uchiha Madara's plan? Uchiha Madara's plan is crazy and scary enough. Looking at Nara Shikaku's question, Gung-Yi didn't hide it, but explained it along the way. Fei Lu reminds you, 3 things to read, collect, push the latest chapter Baidu search 99 Playmate find 99 Novel Network and LT, collection please keep this paragraph, otherwise you will be banned from collecting IP. Chapter 792. The Eye of the Moon Project, 2nd. Now Uchiha Madara, his plan is called Eye of the Moon. Eye of the Moon. That's right. Gung-Yi nodded and said to Nara Shikaku. But does this Moon Eye plan have anything to do with collecting tailed beasts? There is indeed an inseparable relationship. Wait, Nara Shikaku spoke again, and Gung-Yi said directly, the purpose of his collection of tailed beasts is to unite the 9 tailed beasts and resurrect 10 tails. Resurrect 10 tails. Now, Nara Shikaku doesn't know how to speak. One thing after another, Nara Shikaku began to doubt life. 10 tails, Uchiha Madara, began to declare war on the 5 great ninja villages. Nara Shikaku had no idea that so many things would happen after Gung-Yi opened the 5 Shadows conference. 10 tails, according to what Uchiha Madara said and the information I got, it was transformed from a divine tree, and it is a super creature with the strongest chakra. Currently, the 9-tailed beasts are 10 tails. Tails, chakra split from. Gung-Yi also took the trouble to explain carefully to Nara Shikaku. Want Nara Shikaku to be a part of my next plan. Then there are some things that Gung-Yi naturally needs to let him know. At the same time, when Nara Shikaku knew about this, after that, it was also beneficial to his next arrangement. If he doesn't want to accept it, then waiting for the end of the entire ninja continent will naturally be ruined. After all, through these things, if Nara Shikaku is not stupid, he will naturally know some trade-offs. Long time. Nara Shikaku, who was standing in front of Gung-Yi, also had an enlightened look on his face. It feels a little dreamy, Nara Shikaku has to say. 10 tails is resurrected, it will be the end of the entire ninja continent. Thinking of this, Nara Shikaku can't help but ask solemnly, now that 10 tails are so scary, why does Uchiha Madara want to resurrect it? Hehe, this is the plan he told us before. Gung-Yi continued, the purpose of his resurrection of the 10 tails is to the Jinchuriki column force of those who want to become 10 tails, and then use the power of the 10 tails to strengthen their pupil force, and finally activate a Infinite Tsukuyomi, ninjutsu. Infinite Tsukuyomi. It's a kind of ninjutsu that maps Ultimate pupil power on the moon, and then plunges people all over the world into demonic illusion. Gung-Yi didn't hide anything, what to say. The current Nara Shikaku, he seems to be a child who doesn't understand anything. What Gung-Yi said, he was simply ignorant. The next one is suddenly completely unknown. If you get hit with Uchiha Madara's infinite Tsukuyomi, then the person in the surgery, everything he experiences, will be mastered by Uchiha Madara. And according to what he said, this infinite Tsukuyomi is actually very terrifying. Its scope affects the whole world. No matter where it hides, the light of infinite Tsukuyomi can penetrate. Once you are touched, you can't even react, and you will be instantly pulled into the illusory world constructed by the caster. When Gongyi finished saying this, Nara Shikaku was also rarely silent. The silence again made Nara Shikaku think a lot. Uchiha Madara, if that's what Gongyi just said, then he is simply the biggest enemy of all ninja villages in the entire ninja world. At the same time, he is also the biggest scourge. Once Uchiha Madara is really successful, then the entire ninja world will really be finished. Back to his senses, Nara Shikaku looked very serious. Lord Hokage, then now you and the other 4 shadows will go next. What are you going to do? Now that this situation has occurred, Nara Shikaku knows that there must be a strategy to deal with it. Not to mention Uchiha Madara now, he has already declared war on him. In front of everyone. To resurrect the 10 tails and implement the moon eye is enough to threaten everyone. Demonic illusion that can't be escaped, and can't be reacted at all. Once it is really applied, no one can escape alone. Still a Hokage think tank, and he is also a good thinker. At this moment, Nara Shikaku also had countless plans in his mind. But no matter what, in fact, there is only one core. Protect Kyuubi, 9 tails, kill Uchiha Madara, and get rid of Akatsuki. This is the only way to truly avoid apocalypse. Nara Shikaku thought clearly, now the ninja continent seems to usher in a very major tsunami. Now 555 large-scale ninja villages have officially formed an alliance. Gongyi smiled, looked at Nara Shikaku and said lightly, and this time, the 5 major ninja villages will also gather their respective ninja forces, collectively called the Ninja Coalition. The 5 major ninja villages have actually joined forces. Hearing this, Nara Shikaku was still a little surprised, and together we gathered our strength and became a ninja coalition. Now Nara Shikaku has guessed. Seems that because of Uchiha Madara's incident, all the ninja villages have let go of each other's jealousy and hostility towards each other. Now that they are waging wars against each other, there may still be some wiggle room. But, now, about Uchiha Madara, he is about to destroy the ninja world continent. Nara Shikaku thought about it for a while, but it was actually excusable. So far, Nara Shikaku also feels that it is the most correct choice for the 5 major ninja villages to join forces. Because of Uchiha Madara, he is indeed very tricky. Although Gongyi has killed Akatsuki's leader on the bright side, no one can be sure in the dark. This Akatsuki secretly developed into by Uchiha Madara. Therefore, Nara Shikaku could not help but feel a lot more at ease. Now that the 5 ninja villages have joined forces to collect ninja power and create a ninja coalition. Well, even if Uchiha Madara is strong, it is very difficult to resist this power now. Tens of thousands of ninja powers, all united against him. Nara Shikaku couldn't imagine that Uchiha Madara could still think about how to complete this plan. Nara Shikaku's heart that had sunk to the bottom before, gradually calmed down a lot. At least for now, it seems that there is still a chance to save it. At the same time, Nara Shikaku also knows that the 5th generation of Hokage Gongyi is in front of him. This powerful and terrifying power has even been rumored to surpass the existence of Senju Hashirama. Now Uchiha Madara, it is very difficult for him to really complete the so-called Eye of the Moon plan. At least now Nara Shikaku, he has begun to be full of self-confidence. That Uchiha Madara will not succeed with the presence of the Ninja Alliance and Gongyi. Chapter 793. Showdown. That's right. Silent for half a second, Gongyi nodded. Now the other 4 major ninja villages in the Kingdom of Iron have officially announced that I will be the commander-in-chief to start the alliance of the 5 ninja villages, and gather the power of ninjas to form a coalition, crusade and stop them. Akatsuki's plan with Uchiha Madara. Hearing Gong Yi's reconfirmation, Nara Shikaku couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief and said, "Fortunately, if everything is ready, we won't have any problems." Now that all the large ninja villages have been established, the alliance can be officially confirmed. The Ninja Alliance will not cause any problems. At the same time, their Hokage became the general who could have the most power this time, and Nara Shikaku couldn't help being excited. Because this seems to be a good thing for Konoha village. Hehe, Shikaku-sensei, there really isn't any problem with that. Seeing that it was almost over, Gong Yi stopped talking nonsense. But at this moment, he said with a showdown, "In fact, what I really want to tell you is not this matter, but a matter that just used the Fourth Ninja World War to start and benefit our Konoha village. Things that are good for Konoha village." Nara Shikaku looked confused and asked in a deep voice. "I have been preparing for this plan for a long time, and it can be officially implemented with the help of this Fourth Ninja War." "Hokage, you've been planning for a long time." Nara Shikaku was stunned for a moment, and when Gong Yi finished saying this, he was completely stunned. This morning, it seems a little too much information for Nara Shikaku. Uchiha Madara, Moon-Eye Infinite Tsukuyomi, 10 Tails, 5 Village Ninja Coalition. Hokage in front of me has the same plan. Hehe, Shikaku-sensei, you can understand that these things are all included in my plan. It seems to have been seen that the current Nara Shikaku is a little brainless. With a smile on Gong Yi's face, he looked at Nara Shikaku and said, "This plan is very simple. As long as it is successful, our Konoha village will always be the largest ninja village in the ninja continent, and the entire ninja continent will never again there is turmoil, thereby truly opening a period of peace and tranquility." Although Gong Yi's real purpose is to unify the ninja continent. But he couldn't reveal these things. Some plans do not just need a little reason to defend themselves. Just like a fig leaf, only such reasons are more acceptable. Man, that's exactly what it is. How great it is on the lips, in fact, only oneself knows the real selfishness in the heart. Gong Yi didn't think he was a saint again. It's enough for him only for himself. Ninja World Continent is now intriguing. Only great power can speak. If your strength is weak, you may die somewhere. Here, comeback is not the place to talk. So now that Gong Yi has enough power, he naturally has to develop his own ambitions. Konoha Village will always be the largest ninja village in the ninja continent, and the entire ninja continent will not have disasters and truly open a period of peace and stability. Nara Shikaku's face was full of confusion. He had no idea what Gong Yi was talking about. At this time, Nara Shikaku asked instead, "Lord Hokage, what do you mean by this plan?" "Shikaku-sensei, my plan is actually very simple." The sake of saying this, Gong Yi did not hesitate at all, but explained with a smile, "I will use the Fourth Ninja War this time to let Akatsuki of Uchiha Madara come and weaken the rest of the ninja village. Power, at that time, we will use the power reserved by our Konoha village to completely destroy the rest of the ninja village, and then master their shadows, so as to achieve the true ultimate unity. Only when all the individuals become the whole, there will be no more wars." Gong Yi knocked on the table, the smile on his face gradually disappeared, and he became very serious. "This plan, I have thought about it a long time ago, so now with this opportunity, it is our Konoha village that really rises, and it is Shikaku-sensei that we have the best chance to pass on through the ages and become a good story in the ninja world. I have cultivated 20,000 sacrificial powers, and they are only harmful to my Konoha village, so this time I can replace the real ninja to die." Gong Yi told Nara Shikaku about his plan, roughly. But the real core, and the rest, he kept. Now Nara Shikaku, he just knows this, then that's enough. As for other things, Nara Shikaku he doesn't need to know. This time, in fact, the reason why Nara Shikaku was informed was also because of the follow-up battlefield issues. Nara Shikaku will be in charge of war logistics information. There is also Yamanaka Inoichi, who is also responsible for contacting various battlefields, as well as the information sent by the battlefield, and he will also be notified here. So, once there is some kind of problem, the two of them can naturally help themselves to hide it. Well, Master Nara Shikaku and Yamanaka Inoichi. Then the entire rear intelligence system will be instantly paralyzed. Only in this way can the whole plan be carried out recklessly. Otherwise, Konoha village has been fine now, but all the ninjas from the other ninja villages have died. Even a fool would have doubts. So now Gongyi has decided to use Nara Shikaku's perfect help to hide this. Fire, Lord Hokage, your plan actually. This moment, Nara Shikaku's face changed a lot after hearing Gongyi's words. He obviously didn't expect that Gongyi has such a huge ambition now. Nara Shikaku's heart, at this moment, has shaken the sky. This is a bit too crazy. Such an ambition, Nara Shikaku didn't even dare to think about it. Today, in front of him, the 5th generation of Hokage, he is about to implement Nara Shikaku. Now his brain is blank, and his heart is extremely complicated. He can't immediately answer Gongyi at this moment. This thing is no small matter. If it is successful, as Gongyi said, the Konoha village will be the only one from now on. The entire ninja continent will usher in peace and tranquility, and there will be no war at all. But this plan, if once revealed, fails. Then what kind of ending will be waiting for Konoha village? Nara Shikaku he can't imagine, and he can't guess. Great benefits always come with great risks. Nara Shikaku knows the meaning of this sentence. Chapter 794. The Spirit of Adventure. How about Shikaku, Sensei, do you think my plan is feasible? Looking at the silent Nara Shikaku, Gongyi didn't speak directly. He just smiled and asked Nara Shikaku in front of him. In addition to these, Hokage, you also. Back to his senses, Nara Shikaku was still full of shock. Very normal reaction. Hearing such crazy news, almost everyone will have the same reaction. Because of this plan, it's not an ordinary petty fight. If it is implemented now, it will change the entire ninja continent. It is as if they are walking on the cliff of the abyss. If you really walk past, then there is an endless treasure ahead. Once you are in this, if you fall directly, then you will definitely die. People are selfish. In Konoha village, Nara Shikaku naturally hopes that Konoha village will be well. And everyone in Konoha village hopes that Konoha village can become the strongest ninja village. There is no doubt about this. As a core executive, Nara Shikaku thinks more than anyone else. But so far, and now Nara Shikaku also feels, it's a little too risky. The entire Hokage office, there was no sound at this moment. Nara Shikaku is actually still thinking, carefully analyzing this plan in his mind. Apart from these, there is nothing left. Shrugging, looking at Nara Shikaku's troubled appearance, Gongyi smiled even more. Now he's not afraid of Nara Shikaku's hesitation here. Reason why he hesitated was because he had some ideas about this plan. If he chooses without any hesitation at all and chooses to directly deny it, then this is Gongyi, who needs to worry the most now. After all, he doesn't want to use Koto Amatsukami to control Nara Shikaku. Fortunately, the current appearance of Nara Shikaku has made Gongyi have an estimate in his heart. Only need to convince it, then Nara Shikaku will absolutely agree. Unify the entire ninja continent, make Konoha village the only one, and there will be eternal peace. All these things, even Nara Shikaku has to be tempted. Gongyi didn't guess wrong. Now if Nara Shikaku said he wasn't tempted, it would be a complete lie. But the only thing he worries about is if he counts Konoha village in the ninja continent. Shikaku, sensei, I don't have much time left for you and me now. Watching Nara Shikaku still silence, Gongyi said. It's going to work, and now he's putting pressure on Nara Shikaku. Want to wait for Nara Shikaku to figure out that maybe the fourth ninja war is over. Gong Yi doesn't have time, so go here and wait for Nara Shikaku to figure it out. But once this matter is exposed, it will be extremely passive for our Konoha village. Nara Shikaku looked at Gong Yi, his face was full of seriousness. Nara Shikaku dares to jump to conclusions about this matter. Shikaku-sensei, you still disappoint me a little. When Gong Yi heard Nara Shikaku finish saying this, he shook his head and said, now your thinking is like everyone else before, sticking to pedantry, without the slightest bit of adventurous spirit. Wait, Nara Shikaku opened his mouth and Gong Yi continued, just like Senju Hashirama, the first Hokage, who created our Konoha village. Original Hokage. Gong Yi said this, Nara Shikaku couldn't help but look condensed. As early as the beginning, the first Hokage could actually use its own power to completely unify the entire ninja continent, and at the same time, it could turn Konoha village into the only ninja village, and then master the rest of the people. Unfortunately, in the end, he clearly mastered the first Hokage of the nine-tailed beast, but he had to condone the others to follow suit, and in the end he had to obey them and send all the nine-tailed beasts in his hand. The battles with countless casualties after that, as well as all the strife that followed, were actually all caused by him. Gong Yi's face. Rong continued to speak with a contemplative expression. If the original Hokage, if he were like me, after mastering the nine-tailed beast, he would use his absolute power to contain the rest people, so as to develop and expand the Konoha village, and finally achieve unity, then there will be no such thing as it is now. Looking at Nara Shikaku's face, his face gradually loosened. Gong Yi spoke again. Now my plan, Shikaku-sensei, you should be able to understand that, in fact, I am in disguise to correct all the problems left by the first Hokage, so that this greedy and deformed ninja continent will change. It's better. Now our Konoha village has developed to the current state. Knocking on the table, Gong Yi's face showed firmness. Then why don't we take advantage of this fourth ninja war, so as to truly complete the unity we have never had? And Shikaku-sensei, you are the first person to know about this, and you are the one who will cooperate with me in the future, so we will definitely be praised by everyone in the future. This reform will save everyone in the ninja world from the chaos of war. What Gong Yi said at the moment was impassioned, and the whole person made a promise. Through Gong Yi's no. According to what Gong Yi described, it is indeed the best way and the best plan at present. And then there's the sneaky implementation with Gong Yi, which is some pretty crazy plan. Once it really works out, it's going to be a real reform for everyone in Konoha village. And for the entire ninja world continent, the pattern will indeed change. Although the risks are huge, the corresponding benefits are also very tempting enough. Now that Gong Yi said this. After that, Nara Shikaku had to really reconsider. To say that before, he still had some tangled thoughts, but now he has completely lost it. Because it will take time, he feels that in the current situation, it seems that there is no need to tangle anymore. Because Nara Shikaku's heart, in fact, this time has already been answered. Although he did not immediately respond to Gong Yi, his face gradually became less tangled. How about Shikaku-sensei, say your last thoughts now. Looking at Nara Shikaku's appearance, Gong Yi also asked the last question with a serious face. Apparently, now Nara Shikaku's answer is related to what Gong Yi arranges next. He agrees or disagrees, Gong Yi has corresponding arrangements. Chapter 795. The most correct choice. Oh, I really didn't expect it. This, Nara Shikaku stared at Gong Yi in front of him. He couldn't help shaking his head and sighing, feeling a little complicated. At the beginning, this unknown young man has actually grown to such a state. He seemed to be in a trance and could still see that back then. Still, the boy at the ninja school. At that time, Nara Shikaku followed behind Sarutobi Hiruzen, but met Gongyi many times. Even after that, Sarutobi Hiruzen told himself a lot about Gongyi. Are many decisions that Sarutobi Hiruzen and him made secretly. Shaking his head. Unimaginable. Young man at the time has actually risen up now. It was ignored from the beginning, and then slowly began to be discovered. Then, it was an out-of-control start. Rise, uncontrollable rise. From one person who can decide the war, to the completely stress-free slaying of the tailed beast. The end, even the major ninja villages had to bow their heads when facing him. The strength of his whole person has almost reached the peak of the entire ninja continent in the blink of an eye. But now, when he saw the big child almost from a young age, he has already said such a plan. This plan that was enough to change the entire history of the ninja world, Nara Shikaku couldn't help but feel a trance. But now, he is no longer concerned. The whole person's face, Nara Shikaku has begun to gradually become firm. Wealth and risk are sought. Although this sentence does not appear in the Hokage world, Nara Shikaku also understands the meaning. Next second. Nara Shikaku finally showed a wry smile and said slowly, "Now it seems that I have no other choice but support you. Sir Shikaku, this will be the right choice for you." Hearing Nara Shikaku's sure answer, Gongyi showed a smile on his face. Now all of this is still going according to his plan. Now that Nara Shikaku has agreed, there is nothing else to worry about here in Konoha village. Of the entire Konoha village have been brainwashed by themselves without knowing it. Therefore, now on their side, there is no need to worry at all. I was almost completely able to do it myself, in an effect of 100 responses. That's it, now only Nara Shikaku is the most critical point. Thinking of this, Gongyi's smile gradually disappeared, and he said solemnly again, "Master Shikaku, since you have agreed, then I hope you must complete this wholeheartedly. If it really fails, then the whole Konoha the village may have very passive results. To ensure that Nara Shikaku, in future plans, is reserved." Gongyi still said something about the village, threatening Nai Shikaku in disguise. In fact, even if the plan fails, it has no effect on Gongyi. But for someone like Nara Shikaku. But it's totally unacceptable. Now in Konoha village, it's everything Nara Shikaku has. It develops well, then Nara Shikaku will be very excited. But if it doesn't develop well, then Nara Shikaku will also be a little unspeakable and sad. After all, there is his family here, and everything in half his life. With traversers, like Gongyi. Different, Konoha village is for ninjas like Nara Shikaku who were born here. It has a different meaning. That's it, now Gongyi is talking about Konoha village, which makes Nara Shikaku's face even more serious. He nodded and said, "Since I have agreed with your plan, Hokage, then I will naturally use all my strength to complete it. After all, this plan is really successful now, then our Konoha village will be truly sublimated and transformed." This time, Nara Shikaku really has no second heart. At this time, since it has been fully explained, Nara Shikaku also fully understands. Now he's not going to take the rest here as a joke or something. Uchiha Madara, SI of the Moon Project, this is no joke. Of the Fourth Ninja World War is also no joke. Now Gongyi's plan is no joke at all. As a Hokage think tank, Nara Shikaku's position is still very firm. Just like what Gongyi had predicted. There is no real justice and evil in this world, it's just that the will is different. Uchiha Madara, he may not be really evil either. Gongyi, how can you judge that he is the real righteous? Obviously, the position is different, which has led to all the current disasters. The ninja world continent is intriguing. So far, in this situation, each ninja village represents a different position, so their will is naturally different. Beneficial to one's own village is the right thing to do. Other hand, anything that is going to endanger one's own village is a wrong thing to do. Now Nara Shikaku, he works as a senior ninja of the Konoha village. Than anyone, he hopes to see Konoha village rise and truly reach its peak. Therefore, now Gong Yi's plan is not to make Nara Shikaku feel wrong. More, he was just worried that something bad would happen to Konoha village. But at the moment Nara Shikaku looked at Gong Yi with a completely confident look on his face. Nara Shikaku didn't talk anymore, instead he felt relieved. In fact, that's it, Nara Shikaku thinks it's over, and it's one of his plans to agree with Gong Yi. Because I also understand that I have been with Gong Yi for so long. For Gong Yi's stubbornness, Nara Shikaku doesn't need to say it. Since Gong Yi has made a decision this time, he will not be easily changed. He doesn't agree now, I'm afraid it's not going to work at all. Then, in this case, Nara Shikaku still has enough wisdom. He felt inferior to himself, so he really chose to believe in Gong Yi's plan this time. As long as the two of them and the entire Konoha village work together this time, maybe a different era of ninjas will really be created. Thinking of this, Nara Shikaku can't help but get excited. For him, in his lifetime, he can do such a feat. So definitely, he was the most honorable record in his life. Unconsciously, Nara Shikaku thought of this. After that, his face was also firm. Lord Hokage, since it has been decided, do we also need to make a real plan? The words have already been spoken. Nara Shikaku simply began to have a deeper discussion with Gong Yi. Chapter 796. Crazy Plan. Yes, Shikaku-sensei, I really need to talk about it. Gong Yi nodded and responded involuntarily. Now on Nara Shikaku's side, it seems that there is no problem at all. Then Gong Yi started his own arrangement. Now since Hokage you want to weaken the power of the rest of the ninja village, is it difficult to really implement it? At this time, Nara Shikaku asked the most practical question. Now Gong Yi's plan sounds really good. Of this fourth ninja war to invisibly weaken the rest of the ninja village. Then secretly retain the ninja power of Konoha village, so that the remaining four major ninja villages of Master will follow. But this is only a general concept, and there are many details that need to be paid attention to. Although Nara Shikaku agreed, the next thing he needed to be concerned about was the first point is the most puzzling, and that is how Gong Yi wants to weaken the power of the rest of the ninjas. Now that the opponents are Uchiha Madara and Akatsuki, they can't directly defeat the troops. They are exhausted, and start to attack the other four ninja villages. Invisibly, they have become Uchiha Madara's accomplices, helping other plans. This is Nara Shikaku, totally unacceptable. If this is not the case, Nara Shikaku can't think of what will happen next. If you defeat Uchiha Madara first, then go back and secretly attack the other four ninja villages, then it is even more unrealistic. While dealing with Uchiha Madara, their ninjas will naturally lose a lot. A brief thought, Nara Shikaku's face was full of confusion. Shikaku-sensei, it's actually quite simple. Hearing Nara Shikaku's question, Gong Yi didn't hide it. Things have come this far, so don't talk nonsense anymore. Under such circumstances, Gong Yi continued to preach, as long as you cooperate with Uchiha Madara, it will be fine if you don't. Quote. There was an instant silence in Hokage's office. When Gong Yi finished saying these words, Nara Shikaku's face froze again. As if he had just heard it wrong, Nara Shikaku asked aloud, Hokage, you said you want Uchiha Madara to cooperate. What a crazy plan this is. Nara Shikaku, now he feels like he doesn't know what's going on. Yes Shikaku-sensei, now my Uchiha Madara collaboration is the best way. Gong Yi nodded with a smile, and explained aloud, if Uchiha Madara cooperates now, then he will avoid the ninjas in our Konoha village, so he will focus on killing the rest of the ninjas in Omura. At that time, we will use those useless ninjas to send death, in order to disguise our intentions, which is also a cover for the rest of the ninja village. When the power of the rest of the ninja village has been weakened, our real power is dispatched to officially suppress them. Gong Yi kept smiling, and said to Nara Shikaku in a deep voice, "When the time comes, I will take action against Uchiha Madara and settle it directly with him." It can be said that the existence of Uchiha Madara is the promoter of the unification of our Konoha village. At the same time, here, Gong Yi also continued to talk about the rest again. Simply put some of your future plans, and then integrate them separately. Nara Shikaku was really silent for a long time. After a while, he came back to his senses and was amazed. "I really didn't expect that, Hokage, you would arrange such a precise arrangement, and even Uchiha Madara thought about it. However, Uchiha Madara, it will really be like what you said in Hokage." Nara Shikaku shook his head and said with a worried face, "This plan now seems a bit risky. Uchiha Madara, you don't need to worry about Shikaku-sensei." Gong Yi didn't go to reveal too much, but arranged to Nara Shikaku, "Now Shikaku-sensei, you just need to finish the next thing, then that's it." "What's the matter?" Nara Shikaku asked. "Next, when the coalition is formed, I will use the position of the general to arrange you and Yamanaka Inoichi to the headquarters in the rear. You are in charge of gathering information and sending information at the same time, while Yamanaka Inoichi is responsible for the follow-up and remote contact with the ninja allied forces. Now as long as the two of you know my plan, immediately conceal the affairs of the ninja alliance." When it came to the topic, Gong Yi didn't stop saying, "Now only the news from the rear side has been concealed, so there is no fear of anything in the front. At the same time, in disguise, as long as you cut off the intelligence system at the rear, then you don't need to worry about everything." Gong Yi put his hand on his chin, and he looked at Nara Shikaku. "So now, Shikaku-sensei, your next thing, then you just need to convince Yamanaka Inoichi, and you don't need to worry about the rest, I'll do it myself." I know." Hearing Gong Yi's arrangement, Nara Shikaku was actually very horrified. He didn't expect that Gong Yi had such a deep scheming. Nara Shikaku couldn't help but feel fortunate that he was born in Konoha village. And Gong Yi, fortunately he is also the ninja of Konoha village, is the Hokage of Konoha village. Otherwise, even if it is calculated by someone now, it is estimated that they will not know the intelligence system behind the master, then it is very deadly. The four shadows in the rear are responsible for controlling the coalition forces, no doubt like a blind man, unable to move the master correctly at all. All his men were killed, perhaps they were still here thinking the war was won. The ninja coalition in front has no support from the rear, no news and orders from the rear. If they got the other orders to die in disguise, they might not even know it. Therefore, the intelligence system in the rear is the lifeline of the entire ninja alliance. Gong Yi's plan is very simple. He is to use Nara Shikaku and Yamanaka Inoichi to directly cut off the ninja alliance. I have to say, Nara Shikaku is he can no longer see clearly. Young Hokage of the 5th generation in front of him made him stunned enough that he didn't know how to speculate. Because even he couldn't estimate what the whole plan would be like. Nara Shikaku knows that she seems to be just one part of Gong Yi's whole plan. Chapter 797. Cannon Fodder Ninja Power, Second More. The night is late. The sky is full of stars. The bright full moon hangs high in the air, spreading white light to the entire ninja continent. After telling Nara Shikaku all her arrangements, Gong Yi also immediately leaving Konoha village. The 4th Ninja World War has begun at this moment. Afterwards, there will be no more leisurely days. Gong Yi has already started preparations to complete all his next deployments. Inside the palace. When he returned from the Hiraishin spell, Gong Yi had already entered a spacious room. Mr. Gong Yi. Mr. Gong Yi. Quote. Just came here. 3 different voices came. 3 people standing in the house at the moment. 3 Each of them looked indifferent before, and the chakra fluctuations of all their strength were also extremely tyrannical. When Gong Yi came here, their faces also showed respect, and everyone was no longer the same as before. Here it is. Glancing at the three of them, Gong Yi was not surprised by their appearance, but smiled and nodded. 3 people in front of them, 3, are his disciples, and they are also the strongest warriors who are loyal to him at the moment. Kimimaro, Hyuga Neji, Uchiha Sasuke. The battle with Uchiha Obito is close at hand. Next, it is not too late for Gong Yi to arrange the rest of the ninja village. Now the trio 3 is here and it is Gong Yi who called it. Now all the things, I believe you already know. Signaling a few people to sit down, Gong Yi said slowly. Yes, Teacher Gong Yi. Kimimaro, Hyuga Neji, Uchiha Sasuke 3 nodded. Everyone's face showed comprehension, and there was determination in their eyes. Unlike Nara Shikaku, Trio 3 believes in Gong Yi completely and unconditionally. They perfectly inherit Gong Yi's will, and also have plans for any Gong Yi. They also all know that they only need to complete it, and the rest is not important to them at all. Start the 4th Ninja World War with the power of Uchiha Obito. Come and go to drain the power of the rest of the ninja village. At the same time, the real Konoha power is secretly activated to control the rest of the ninja village. Gong Yi's plan to unify the ninja continent has already been informed. At the same time, they have been secretly making arrangements for so long. Long ago, Gong Yi had the 3 of them constantly preparing for the next war. Today, when the 4th ninja, after it has officially opened, of the 3 of them can finally be officially implemented. Now Kimimaro, how are things going on your side? Seeing the 3 of them nodding, Gong Yi looked at Kimimaro and asked. There are no problems now. Kimimaro nodded and said, there are now a total of 21,000 ninja powers, all of which have been arranged. It's all useless power in our Konoha village. Waiting for Gong Yi to speak again, Kimimaro said in detail, these 10,000 ninjas are from the training of war orphans. They have been counted by Anbu before, and they have no sense of belonging to Konoha village, and there are many of them. I tried to leave Konoha and go to the other villages. And 11,000 other, famous ninjas, all from the imprisoned renegade ninjas, and those around the wandering ninjas disturbing the safety of my Konoha village. Now everyone has been imprisoned by me, and can be used normally at any time to die in place of the real ninjas in our Konoha village. Nice. Hearing Kimimaro say this, Gong Yi nodded with great satisfaction. Now Kimimaro is doing very well, as expected by Gong Yi. A total of 21,000 cannon fodders, which Gong Yi never thought of. On his own side, he can really gather so much power. In this way, invisibly, Gong Yi doesn't need to waste any ninja power in his hands. Seems that his development in recent years has also increased the power of ninjas in Konoha village. Of course, wasting resources in vain is not good, but now, it's actually good to think about it. Now that they have them as cannon fodder, it can be considered that Gong Yi's next arrangement can be much smoother. Of more than 20,000 ninjas has been poured out, and the rest of the ninja village will not doubt themselves. With their presence, Gong Yi's whole plan will be much more convenient. Well, now I have to say, God has helped Gong Yi. Before the 4th Ninja World War was started, Gong Yi had already explained Kimimaro. These days, Kimimaro has been taking advantage of Anbu's convenience, constantly gathering the power of these cannon fodder ninjas, and using the secret techniques given to him by Gong Yi, and then controlling them. The strength of more than 20,000 cannon fodders, in fact, do not have to think about it, it is estimated that Kimimaro spent a lot of effort and time. But all of this is worth it without questioning it. Gong Yi thinks it is worth it, so does Kimimaro. Of his life at the moment is to help Gong Yi complete all the plans he has in mind. And so far, this is the most important thing, Kimimaro will naturally spare no effort. This is because time is running out. Otherwise, with Kimamaro's efficiency, he might be able to collect a lot of cannon fodder. Of course, Gong Yi is not greedy for anything. Now, just so far, such power is enough. If you guessed correctly, the strength of the remaining ninja villages is estimated to be only about 10,000 to 20,000. And he took out 20,000 ninja powers at once, which is also very sincere, invisibly. Therefore, now that there are cannon fodder ninjas, then there is no need to worry about people doubting themselves. That case, Nara Shikaku and Yamanaka Inoichi don't really matter. Their existence, Gong Yi has long thought about it, and properly spread some bad news for them. This case, there will also be an effect of causing the entire ninja coalition to be in chaos. As long as the ninja alliance can be weakened, Gong Yi will do whatever it takes. The purpose of this fourth ninja war is simple. That is to weaken the other four major ninja villages, get rid of Uchiha Madara and Uchiha Obito and Otsutsuki Kagaya these. Scourge. After everything is completely resolved, then the entire ninja continent will usher in its own complete rule. Just like Qin Shi Huang in the previous life, everything will be unique. This is a grand and impossible wish. Gong Yi gradually saw the dawn. Chapter 798. Konoha's Ancient and Famous Door, Third More. Neji, how are you doing now? Senses, Gong Yi looked at Hyuga Neji again and asked. Now that I am here, there is basically no problem. Hyuga Neji nodded and said softly, now the Hyuga clan already knows everything about the next arrangement, and I am responsible for the preparations on their side, and for the rest of the clan, except the Nara clan and the Yamanaka clan. I am also invisible. Some information was infiltrated into it, and your will, teacher, was also conveyed invisibly. Now I think, as long as you call, then they will definitely choose to support it. With confidence on his face, Hyuga Neji smiled and said, basically, with our current ninja power, no one will ever refute you, teacher. Well, now this matter is indeed very important. Gong Yi thought for a moment, then said slowly, as for the movements of the rest of the clan, you must also monitor them. Got it, teacher Gong Yi. Hyuga Neji nodded again. That's right. Now when Kimamaro's side moves, Hyuga Neji and Gong Yi also make arrangements. As a Hyuga clan, Neji's role now is naturally to guide the clan he belongs to. The Hyuga clan, one of the ancient and famous families of this Konoha. Kekkei Genkai Byakugan inherited from his family, and has one of Konoha's most powerful martial arts genres, Gentle Fist, also known as Hyuga, is the strongest in Konoha. Not false rumors, and it's not that they are arrogant. After the Uchiha clan was wiped out, the Hyuga clan was indeed powerful. The most powerful clan in Konoha village, questioned by Muyang. Their Hyuga clan came from Otsutsuki Kagaya, the mother of the Six Paths Immortals, and Byakugan was also one of the three major pupils. Therefore, there is this excellent pupil technique Kekkei Genkai, and at the same time, it cooperates with the popular secret technique. Now they are in Konoha village and their status is very high. From the very beginning, the Hyuga family had a close relationship with him, and after that, he supported himself as a Hokage with the power of the whole family. Of course, Gong Yi also knows this. After Gong Yi assumed the position of Hokage, he arranged a lot of key positions in the village, all of which were given to the Hyuga family. In the entire Konoha village also knows that the Hyuga family and Gong Yi, the fifth-generation Hokage, have a close relationship. As a result, they have won a lot of respect and awe, and now they are flourishing in Konoha village. Now, when Hyuga Neji keeps revealing Gong Yi's plan, the Hyuga family naturally supports without the slightest hesitation. Although it is a bit risky, the Hyuga family still has no hesitation. Their previous support for Gong Yi was actually a big gamble. But in the end, the Hyuga family made the right bet. And now, they are still a bigger battle, they think, maybe they can too. As for the other families, although they are not the same as the Hyuga family. But for Gong Yi, they all belong to support. After all, Gong Yi's appointment as the 5th generation Hokage has brought a lot of benefits to everyone. Over the years, Gong Yi, the 5th generation Hokage, has indeed done a great job. He was generous with his money, and he didn't have the slightest bit of petty arrogance, which really made everyone admire. These various resources obtained, Gong Yi did not keep. Instead, all of them were used to vigorously develop Konoha village. Then, because of this plan, Gong Yi had already secretly arranged it a few years ago. For those grassroots ninjas, Gong Yi time are often small favors, and various benefits are also constant. Medical ninja talismans, creating a ninjutsu library, creating a ninjutsu training ground, and so on. Something in the series. Over the years, whether it's those ordinary ninjas, or those families, they have really softened their hands. Now, that's why Gong Yi says that he absolutely responds. They will fully support themselves, and Gong Yi is confident that there will be no bad voices at all. As soon as Hyuga Neji finished speaking today, Gong Yi also strengthened his inner thoughts. Now the most important thing this time, 20,000 cannon fodder, the true power of Konoha village, seems to have all been arranged. Next, be steady, just wait for the 4th Ninja World War to start, then you can. And at this moment, Gong Yi's thoughts came to this point, and then he looked at Sasuke. Sasuke, what's going on your side? Teacher, there is no problem at all. Sasuke also nodded and looked at Gong Yi respectfully. According to your previous arrangement, teacher, I have used demonic illusion to hide all the scrolls you gave me in those locations along the way. Basically now, no one will notice at all. Sasuke's face showed confidence and immediately responded to Gong Yi. Very well, so that everything will be fine. Seeing that Sasuke was also successfully completed here, Gong Yi's face became even more smiling. This time for Sasuke, Gong Yi did not arrange too important. However, his link is also indispensable. That is the only road that Gong Yi will pass by after the ninja coalition forces, and all traps are arranged. Sasuke's current demonic illusion is a barrier, no one will be able to notice it at all. After that, I sent incorrect information through Nara Shikaku and Yamanaka Inoichi. After letting them step into it, you can use the scroll trap to put them into a mortal situation. This time, all plans are linked together, even if it is discovered after the 4 major ninja villages. Then Gong Yi will not at all, giving them any chance of being saved. The whole plan has been arranged by himself for so long. Naturally, no one needs to be disturbed, and naturally no one is allowed to be disturbed. At night, the tranquility is endless. At this moment, there are only nocturnal animals outside, making noises. Inside the house. After Gong Yi briefly explained Hyuga Neji, Kimimaro, and Uchiha Sasuke, they all went back. Everything is ready, everything only owes the east wind. Nara Shikaku has chosen to submit himself and agree to his own plan. And everything that the 3 people 3 explained before can also be fully implemented. Next, I just have to wait until tomorrow, and I will announce the 4th Ninja War in Konoha village. After that, you can officially step into your own plans and arrangements. Seeing the 3 people leaving, Gong Yi let out a long breath. The nerves that had been tense all the time gradually loosened up a lot. Although Gong Yi has 100% self-confidence, he is plotting against the whole ninja world. In fact, it is also quite exhausting. Baidu search 99 Playmates to find 99 Novel Network. Chapter 799. Madara who committed suicide. Open black lens bracket. Morning, the sun is shining. Of warmth spreads over the entire Konoha village. A new day has begun. But at the moment, all the civilians are still busy with their lives. The ninjas fell into a tense range. Central Administrative Building, large conference room. Gong Yi, wearing the Hokage royal robe, is sitting in the first place at the moment. On both sides of the front, all seats are full. Exception, all of them are the patriarchs of the Konoha village family, as well as the excellent Jonin Core ninjas. The head of the Hyuga clan, the Yamanaka clan, the Choji clan and so on, one after another. And Might Guy, Kakashi, Sarutobi Asuma and others are also sitting here. Looking around, all the people here already represent the top power of Konoha village ultimate. If at this moment, someone takes this place away, then Konoha village will be destroyed immediately. Today, everyone sitting here is also looking serious, waiting for Gong Yi to speak. They knew that Gong Yi had attended the Five Shadows conference before. So, looking at such a battle now, a group of people also thought of a certain possibility in their hearts. Although they didn't open their mouths, they were all tacit. This time, since everyone has been summoned, they can also guess what will happen next. Even they knew that since the return of Hokage Gong Yi of the 5th generation, the tasks entrusted to Konoha village began to decrease. Unconsciously, in just half a day, all the Konoha village ninjas who went out began to be constantly summoned back. They know that something terrible may happen next. Okay, since everyone has arrived, then I don't need to wait. Hokage hat I was wearing on my head and put it on the table. I saw that the 2 rows in front of me were already full, and the ones in the back. The stools were also full of people. Gong Yi looked at them and spoke directly from the beginning. I call on the 4 major ninja villages to hold the 5 Shadows conference. I believe you all already know. Well, that's right. Hearing Gong Yi finish saying this, everyone nodded in response. I was supposed to hold the 5 Shadows meeting this time for Akatsuki's sake. Seeing that no one spoke anymore, Gong Yi continued, however, things often go the opposite way. Now at the 5 Shadows meeting, something happened and we had to change our plans. Change plan. What happened to the 5 Shadows conference? Everyone's faces showed confusion, and they didn't quite understand Gong Yi's intentions. They couldn't understand, could it be that they dared to cause trouble in the 5 Shadows meeting? Yesterday, although Gong Yi informed Nara Shikaku did not say it. Because this plan of the 2 at this moment is not a good time to reveal it. Gong Yi knows, then Nara Shikaku is just more cautious. At this moment, this is an issue related to the future pattern of the entire Konoha village in the ninja continent. How could Nara Shikaku be easily exposed as the think tank of Hokage, as well as the patriarch of the Nara clan, and the core executive of Konoha village? He was even more afraid to reveal these things completely. For Nara Shikaku, what he needs to accomplish is his own share. As for other things, of course, I still need the 5th generation Hokage Gong Yi in front of me to arrange it. As a strategist, Nara Shikaku is very principled and has a strong position. In fact, this is also the reason why Gong Yi is optimistic about Nara Shikaku, willing to cooperate with him, and revealing his plan. Because of Nara Shikaku, he is trustworthy enough and very stable. Working with it, at least there won't be some unexpected leak issues. This plan is no trivial matter, and despite Nara Shikaku, Gong Yi did not fully inform him of all his plans. Even Kimimaro, Uchiha Sasuke, Hyuga Neji, Gong Yi is the same. In this ninja world, Gong Yi is still very cautious and follows the philosophy of only believing in himself. Although he is strong enough, Gong Yi is not lawless, he no longer sees people without eyes. That way the villain ignores everything, Gong Yi doesn't want to try it. Returning to his senses, Gong Yi's face. Wrong said solemnly. This time the 5 Shadows meeting, Uchiha Madara, the leader behind Akatsuki, appeared. And he has officially declared war on Sunagakure village, Kurigakure village, Iwagakure village, Kumogakure village, etc. And the 5 major ninja villages including my Konoha village. Gong Yi didn't hide anything, but spoke these things out. War has already started, how could Gong Yi hide this? After discussing with Nara Shikaku yesterday, the 2 have already started to study the deployment of this battle. Now that everything has been resolved, it is time to mobilize. However, before mobilizing, they naturally need to let them know the end of the war. Uchiha Madara dared to appear at the Five Shadows conference. He's really brave, this guy. Officially declare war on the 5 major ninja villages. Quote. Hearing Gong Yi finish saying this, the entire conference room was in an uproar. All the people, all their faces could not help but change color. Whether it is Kakashi, or Might Guy and others. All of them sank inwardly, feeling that they had never expected this to happen. Before that, they thought of all the possibilities. But unfortunately, they did not expect that such a problem would occur now. Originally, they thought it was nothing more than clearing Akatsuki, but this time, when Gong Yi said the news, it was like a blockbuster. The existence of Uchiha Madara, these core high level, all know Akatsuki. For today's battle, Gong Yi had already told them invisibly before. The group of them did not expect that Uchiha Madara would dare to provoke the entire ninja continent. Just like Nara Shikaku heard the news yesterday, they all had disbelief on their faces. 5 major ninja villages are not ordinary small ninja villages. Their ninja power and background are very powerful. What's more, it is still the strength of the entire 5 ninja villages. Uchiha Madara's strength is so powerful that it is difficult to resist it. In the current situation, all the core and high-level ninjas here feel a little unacceptable. They think Uchiha Madara, this is simply a too bold choice. Because, this is undoubtedly a meaningless thing to commit suicide. Chapter 800, Konoha High-Level Mind, 5th More. Hee, I know all of you are unbelievable. Gong Yi smiled without showing the slightest displeasure. Under such circumstances, they would behave very indifferently. Then Gong Yi, it will be a bit difficult to understand. Looking at the appearance of everyone in front of him, Gong Yi could have imagined it for a long time. For native ninjas like them, Uchiha Madara's actions are a bit too bold now. If it weren't for Gong Yi's foresight, and himself being the driving force behind all this. It were him, he would definitely think that Uchiha Madara was crazy. But everyone, you heard right, the 4th Ninja World War is about to begin. Before, I also established a complete cooperation with the 4 major ninja villages, and united to form a 5-village coalition. Now all this is precisely because of the need to fight against Uchiha Madara together. Looking at the group of people with serious faces, Gong Yi also said solemnly. But Hokage-sama. At this time, Homura Mitokado, who was sitting next to him, showed confusion on his face. Even if it is Uchiha Madara, does he need an alliance of the 5 nations to deal with it? Homura Mitokado is actually a little puzzled. Even though Uchiha Madara is going strong, Homura Mitokado thinks it's too aggressive. He actually needs the 5 major ninja villages to join forces, and even to form a coalition to fight against this short time. Not only Homura Mitokado thinks so. The rest of the people, although they don't say it now. However, they all seem to agree with what Homura Mitokado said. Uchiha Madara is indeed strong, but it is not strong enough to take 5 villages to deal with it, and it still needs to be assembled into a coalition force. Just for Uchiha Madara, he may not be really strong in the record and in the impression. To rival. As if to dispel everyone's thoughts, Gong Yi didn't ignore Homura Mitokado. But at this moment, he stared forward and said solemnly, but don't forget, the Akatsuki that Uchiha Madara once led, they alone can freely come and go in the major ninja villages, and Sunagakure village, Iwagakure village, and the village of Kumogakure. But they were all destroyed by their own hands. Especially, Uchiha Madara was originally a person with the first Hokage, who was collectively called the god of ninja world at that time. Knocking on the table, Gong Yi made everyone get to know Uchiha Madara again after a while. On Homura Mitokado's side, his expression changed, and there was a rare silence. Now he doesn't know, if it's really all according to what Gong Yi said, this Uchiha Madara is definitely a huge threat. I think Hokage-sama said it too. Kakashi, who was sitting on the other side, opened his mouth and said, "Akatsuki now, they have already got the eight-tailed beast. If they use the tailed beast as a weapon, then they must be prepared for everything." Kakashi analyzed it carefully, and said, "After all, not every one of us has the super strength that can suppress the tail beast like Lord Hokage. Yes, now I also think that Hokage-sama is right." Here, the head of the Hyuga family also nodded and said, "If all this really gets out of control, then not only our Konoha village will suffer, but the whole world will usher in a crisis of destruction. The Fourth Ninja World War seems to be really urgent. Damn Uchiha Madara, we really need a good deployment arrangement. I never thought that Uchiha Madara would become such a scourge. Now his existence has indeed threatened us." Quote. At the conference table, everyone is now discussing with serious expressions. But without exception, all are one point of view, and that is to agree with Gong Yi's words. Uchiha Madara is not as weak as they thought. Contrary, after hearing what Gong Yi said, they all began to feel a sense of crisis. Disaster that no one can avoid in the entire ninja continent. The opening of the Fourth Ninja World War is indeed urgent. Kaharu Udatane, who had never spoken, looked at Gong Yi and asked, "But do we now know where Uchiha Madara and Akatsuki are? Now that the coalition forces are assembled, we can't wait for Akatsuki to attack." Kaharu Udatane also said a more realistic and important thing. "You don't have to worry about this, elder." Gong Yi smiled, looked at Kaharu Udatane and said, "Not long ago, I have received a contact from the Enko unit, and it has been confirmed that a person suspected of being Uchiha Madara has been found. Now I think as long as the details are further investigated, then there will be no problems." Hearing Gong Yi's words, Kaharu Udatane couldn't help but nodded and replied, "That's fine, at least we won't be so passive like headless flies. Since it has been organized into a coalition, it will only be us who will take the initiative." Nara Shikaku also spoke directly at this time, completely dispelling the worries of Kaharu Udatane. "Okay, this time the battle must be fought, and there is no way to escape." Gong Yi shrugged, revealing a helpless smile. "Now Uchiha Madara has clearly told us the shadow of the 5 great ninja villages about the purpose of collecting tailed beasts. All. The meeting room was just bustling, when I heard Gong Yi say this. Except Nara Shikaku, everyone was stunned. As if they had heard it wrong, they once again showed disbelief. Uchiha Madara, he has clearly told the purpose of collecting the tailed beasts to the shadow of the 5 major ninja villages. This is not a joke. Everyone in the room looked at Gong Yi with astonishment. He named this plan the Eye of the Moon Project. Since everyone wants to realize the seriousness of the matter, Gong Yi has no nonsense. A short period of time, he told everyone about Infinite Tsukuyomi and a series of other things. Now in disguise, I also want to cheer them up. Otherwise, it is estimated that some of them will slack off the war. Although his goal at this moment is to weaken the other 4 major ninja villages. But in the early stage, this skill will still need to compete with Uchiha Obito for a while. After all, he is still a master of 100,000 skills. First, use the rest of the ninja village to eliminate this scourge.